This 2020 Vision Radio 102.1 FM program is being simulcast weekly on the Caribbean Broadcast Network, heard on CBN Superstation 90.9 FM, Go Loud Digicel app, covering the entire U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and CBN TV on Flow Channel 101 and on CCT TV Channel 291. We do appreciate our U.S. and British Virgin Island listeners and viewers joining us for these informative and entertaining programs on 2020 Vision Radio and 102.1 FM.
All right, and we say good morning to all our viewers, good morning to all our listeners. Welcome to the good old days here on 2020 Vision Radio. Always a pleasure being with you this time on a Saturday morning. We do hope that your day is going just fine. And if not, a few things sometimes they go wrong and we just have to make a few adjustments. So we just go ahead and take it as it comes, right? And make those adjustments. But we hope that everything is going okay for you, wherever you are at this point in time. If you are here in Nevis, you're in our sister Isle of St. Kitts, you are in a region, you are further afield. Wherever you are joining us from, at this point in time, we are happy to have you, and we welcome you to today's edition on the good old days. Okay? For those who are celebrating today, it may be a birthday or an anniversary, and today or during the week coming up, we want to extend to you best wishes. Maybe a birthday, an anniversary, some special occasion. Okay, we want to congratulate you and to extend to you the very best wishes. To all students who have graduated and will be graduating, okay, we want to applaud them, we want to congratulate them, we want to celebrate them. All the parents, all the teachers, all the stakeholders who would have contributed to the success of these students. All right? It's a teamwork, and we have to continue to encourage our youngsters. So congratulations, okay, to all the graduates, wherever you are, all right, those who have graduated and those who intend to graduate, okay, during the upcoming week. Best wishes and keep shining, all right? Our nation needs you, and, we are here for you, and we just want to see you grow into mature, responsible citizens so that you can make your great contribution, okay? All right, so keep going. If you're on the downside today, things often go wrong. You may be experiencing some difficult circumstance. You may be mourning the loss of a loved one. Whatever the situation, we are just encouraging you to hold on. Okay? Don't give up. The sun will rise. Okay, we have an early call. Okay. Let's take it. Go ahead.
Good morning, caller. You on the good old days? Hello, good morning. You're on the good old days.
Good morning, Cousin Ren. Good morning,
Hi,
Cousin
cousin. Hi,
Chesley. Good
cousin
morning
Gwen.
to the guests.
Morning.
Morning, boy. As they say, you're
Yeah,
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
yes. I've been up a long time waiting, and my friend in Delaware just called a while ago to find out if you guys were gonna be on. So I
Yes.
said, okay, keep tuning in. They'll be on, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, my
They're here.
reason for calling this now so early is because I want to send out birthday greetings to the one and only Zumbai Digai.
Mm.
He is celebrating his birthday today.
Is he
I
your
want
cousin
to
too,
wish
Gwen?
him, oh, he's my god brother, he's my cousin, he's my friend, he's my everything.
Oh my.
So,
All right. Well, he's my cousin, so thank you.
yeah, so I just want to wish him all the best and God's blessings for a long, long life. And have a wonderful day, Uncle Willie. Love
Yes.
you.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thanks for calling.
Yes.
Have a good day, sir.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Bye.
You too.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. And of course, to all others celebrating our best wishes, as we said before. All right. No, it's a lovely day. When I woke up this morning, there was a cool breeze blowing. You know what I mean? And I felt it around my neck. And I said, boy, Christmas is coming. Okay? It's a good, refreshing feeling. Right? Good morning.
Morning to you. You felt a good breeze, but I had some nice rain.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to the good old days for today. Today is the 29th, I think. Is it, Chesley?
29.
29th, yes, of November. Can't believe it, but it's true.
Yeah.
We are here, 11th month of the year. And so thank you for joining us on the good old days. Chesley made some very, very telling and very heavy statements this morning. I see I'm going to have to stay by your side because you could be in for some serious challenges. But in your defense, we have in the studio with us two of our favorite doctors. So we welcome you all and we expect you to be very interactive with us. I'm sure a lot of information is going to be shared this morning to all of our advantage as we continue to learn every day. And we urge you to stay tuned, get your, as we say, your pens and pencils and your notepads ready, because these guys always have information to share with us.
Yes.
That is vital to our everyday living. So stay with us, and good morning and welcome. Hi Pam, good morning to you. Good morning Denise, good morning Carol, good morning to all my siblings all across the region. Wherever you're listening, welcome to the good old days.
And to our brother Paul there in Barbados. He's tuned in. Okay?
And
Yes,
to Shefton,
yes.
I
Shefton.
think wherever he is, he's probably stealing a chance to see what's going on, right?
To Shefton and his list. Don't forget the list. All the names on the list, right?
Yeah, it's long list. Yes. Those are tongue twisters, so I'm not gonna try.
Yes.
But Dr. Floyd, good morning.
Good morning, Ren, and good morning, Chesley. Good morning to all the listeners. Happy to be back, actually. We had so much fun the last time. Good educational fun. And so, just happy to be back. Happy to be back with my colleague here, Kanisha. Morning.
Good morning.
And so, yeah, we're ready to do this part 2.
All right, Kanisha.
Hi, good morning. I'm also very happy to be back. Good morning, guys. Good morning, listeners. Yeah, we're looking forward to a discussion on how we can move forward, be thoughtful with the way we consume water. So, yeah, excited for the discussion.
And this morning, I'm going to say to you, don't let us have to ask you to come back, right? Whenever you see it's necessary for us to get up to date with all this good stuff that you're doing, please come and let us know.
Right.
Thanks for being here.
Okay.
Have a good program.
Right. And we just want to remind you that our numbers to call
1-869-669-7312, and that's also our WhatsApp number. You'd want to make sure that you get in on that. And also, we've got 469-7953 or 917-460-2187. Those are our numbers that you can reach us at, and we're very happy to interact with you. Chesley?
Okay. All right. And as we indicated earlier, we are having a part 2 to the St. Nevis Chance Water Project. All right. Right?
Yes.
Right. There's part 2. All right. So, and we're happy that you're here again. On the 8th of November, we had part 1. Okay. Quite a bit of information, was shared. And we are happy that Kenisha and Floyd are back with us this morning to continue to talk about this very important resource of water. Okay. Yes. Floyd, let's suppose that there were persons who were not able to listen the last time, and they may be asking, the chance water, in just a few words, what is the chance water?
Sure.
Yes.
So, as a matter of fact, so the official title of the project is Transitioning the Water Supply in St. Kitts and Nevis to a Low Carbon Climate Resilient Sector. And so we affectionately call it the Transwater Project. This project, as it says, is trying to make some changes, of course, with climate change and trying to reduce the greenhouse gases and, all the terms. I mean, people, I think, are very well educated in terms of all the effects of climate change. What we are trying to do is to know, so water and water movement is a very energy intensive thing. And so, of course, most of the stuff, our energy supply is by fossil fuel. So we're looking to move that now to low carbon. So we're talking about, hopefully with the introduction of the geothermal, we have got some wind energy on the island. Of course, there's solar. And so with those as the major energy, green energy, then those are the things that we are looking to now transition into. There's some other things, obviously, that we are trying to do too, because, again, regardless of how clean and how resilient your energy system might be, you still have to look on the other side in terms of consumption. So not because energy is cheap, we leave on the lights and we do certain things. So we're going to also discuss some conservation. But that in a nutshell is what the project is aiming to do. The project, as I mentioned last time, is about $50 million US, and it's a grant. Sometimes when we say grant, we don't take care of the money, because,
I think it's free money.
Easy come, easy go, but it's not, because it's somebody's money, And so we are really excited in the water sector. As a matter of fact, just yesterday I was over in St. Kitts at Karikoff Climate Outlook Forum. They had a whole week of activities, and I ran into the consultant who actually did up this proposal. And it was so funny because everything we did at the time was virtual. But when I saw her, I felt like, and she said to me, we never met. And I'm like, really? It was just, we spent so much time together in the virtual space that it was just so intimate. So I was really happy to meet her for the first time, and she did a wonderful job. I mean, initially the project was written up in a way that just didn't fit with the Green Climate Fund system. So that's where we are right now. We are in what's called the project preparation facility. So a new group of consultants are in, and they're just getting the ducks lined up for us to move forward with implementation. And so we are hoping early next year this second phase of the project should be done, and so maybe middle of next year we should start seeing stuff hitting the ground.
Yes.
Floyd, in your opening statement just now, you made reference to a number of things. I normally have a problem when statements or press releases come out from the government and stuff like that, because you always hear these big words, right?
Yes, sir.
Sustainability, unilateral, and all these kind of things. I'm like, really? I mean, for me, it seems like once you hear sustainability, you're supposed to just sit and accept and say, oh, that's something good.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to break it down for me, for persons like me who sit into my back door with my barefoot hang out the door and that kind of thing, want to know exactly what are they saying. How does this, how does it benefit me? How am I supposed to understand? What am I supposed to take from all this?
Well, sustainability, and I'm going to ask my colleague to come in here, because this is our forte. But when something is sustainable, you're talking about being able to use it, and not just for, there's no time frame on it, but we say for a very long time, in a way that it doesn't run out, for example. Yeah. When it comes to water is finite. We sometimes think it's not. But whatever amount of water is in the world is in the world. And we have no control over it. When the clouds form and rain fall, we have no control where it falls. And all the groundwater and all the water that we have access to, maybe except for the ocean, really comes in the form of rain. Okay, it goes underground. Some of it run off. Different names we have for it when it gets into certain aspect of the whole environment. But then rainfall is really the main source, okay? And so even when we have that amount that Nevis gets is finite. And so we have to put things in place that we could use that water for as long as we can. Yeah? And so this whole, as a matter of fact, it's interesting that you asked that question, Ren, because I wanted to also add about the unit I manage is called the Integrated Water Resources Management Unit. Okay? And our job is very different from the water department. I was trying to explain to a customer one time, and when I was done, she said, look, all water is water, yes? So I hope I could do a better job this morning. But we are mandated in trying to manage that resource. Water department job is to get the resource to you. Yeah?
Distribution.
Yes, and we our job is now to look at it, and as a matter of fact, we are supposed to be managing that commodity for the entire sector. We're talking about tourism. We're talking about the environment. We're talking about for people, farming. You name the sector, you know. And our job is to say we only have this amount, and we have to look at what everybody wants and then determine how we're going to distribute that. Now, the truth of the matter is the legislation hasn't been established yet to give us the legal authority. But in terms of water resource management, that is really the concept. And so we are hoping that will come in place, that we could limit, even water department. There's some situations where there might be over pumping of a well. And we have the authority to go in and say, hey, you got to back down. Because if you over pump the well and it becomes salty, then nobody has access to whatever amount that well used to produce. And so that is the whole idea about sustainability. We have to do it in a way that it lasts a long time. But I'm going to ask Kanisha, because I know, you know, she has a more clearer definition.
Okay.
Yeah. But just before Kanisha, you mentioned policy. Shouldn't that have been the first leg?
Yeah, Ren, you have me on that.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
yeah.
Kanisha. Go ahead, Kanisha.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, again. When we look at the concept of sustainability from an environmental science perspective, sustainability means my use, my generation's use, the existing person's use of a resource does not affect future generations' ability to also use that resource. And so you hear now people talk about, and I'm not quite sure the origin of the statement, but you hear the expression, we are borrowing from our children the resources that we use, right? So the resource isn't ours. We didn't inherit it. We are borrowing from future generations. So the idea of sustainability, if we're looking at water, our use of water now should not affect future generations. And as Mr. Robinson would have mentioned, he talked about pumping water from wells or using water in the springs. It takes time for that water to actually make it into the aquifers. Different aquifers fill up at different rates. If we take out the water faster than it's going into the aquifers, then we're over-pumping the aquifers, and that means they're depleted and are not available for future generations to use. So nowadays, we actively monitor our aquifers to ensure that we're not overusing them. There are areas in St. Kitts and Nevis where we have, to some degree, overexploited these water resources, and it has led to saltwater incursion. There is also the possibility in some areas of the world it has occurred where you can have land subduction. Water exists and water is pushing up on the soil above it and the land above it. And when you take out too much, it sinks.
Wait. I don't want to feel like I'm devil's advocate today, but you said earlier in your opening statement, you said that the term is being used, borrowing from our future, right? Well, my understanding of borrowing is that you replace. So how does that work?
Well, there are different activities we can do to ensure that first we do not take out too much and that we allow it to be replaced. So it might be difficult, not impossible actually, but difficult for us to actively replace that water. One of the things we can do, because as we say, this is about integrated water resource management. And so that looks at managing runoff water on the streets too. And how we mitigate that so that it doesn't lead to flooding or doesn't flow into the ocean untreated. So one of the things we can do is ensure in areas, especially where we have our aquifers, but in general, keep our trees. trees, especially in the mountain. You see in Nevis, you see the clouds come around the mountain area, and when they touch the upper portions of the mountain, they actually deposit water. So that's called cloud water interception, and there's deposition and all these things, putting down water there, even something as simple as that. Keeping our large trees help to move water from deep in the earth and put it into the atmosphere, which ensures we get rainfall later on. So activities that support the natural environment will also ensure that we have that water for future generations. It's a complex system, but in reality, if we maintain the natural environment, and if we do things in a sustainable way, thinking about the future generations, we can replenish and we can ensure that it's there.
Right. Okay. All right. And I guess that point cannot be overstated, right?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a bit about the non-revenue water, though. What is that all about? Yes.
So before we get into that,
Yes.
Chesley, I wanted to just highlight a couple of the quick outputs
Yes.
for the project. And we mentioned policy, and yeah, when sometimes the paperwork should go before. But I think when we look at history, sometimes you start the journey.
Yes.
And we'll take care of certain other things. I'm not sure how we tend to emphasize when it comes to legislation and policies. And they don't really go in a sequence. Sometimes they just kind of go ad hoc and as you make progress. The unit has been around for 6 years, and that has been my approach, that we just can't wait for the policies to come along. As a matter of fact, the legislation, our policies can be developed. And so we've been working on that and having cross-sectional relationships and stuff. I mean, that is how I met Miss Lois, and we just been going. And she sent me some of those heavy texts that make my brain cells, we've been doing that in all the different areas. Agriculture, of course, is probably our biggest partner in terms of consumption.
You reminded when she's sending you stuff that we're dealing with water, and water is gotta be soft, right?
Yeah.
Water can be hard.
Be gentle, be gentle.
And so we've been developing that cross-sectional. We have a great relationship with disaster because they manage. I mean, some of the activities, too much rain can end up being a disaster. Too little rain can end up being a disaster. So we have that relationship with them. So we've been establishing the relationships, and I think having done that, and if it's a solid relationship, then there's almost no choice but to just continue. And the one thing I want to say too, that what is great about Nevis having an integrated water resource management unit is that is just a natural progression. As a matter of fact, that should have been in place a long time. There are very few islands that have it. I'm talking to one of my counterparts in Antigua. When I mentioned to him that's what I was doing, he said, boy, we need to get that. And you tend to feel like throughout the region, the bigger islands tend to, move ahead, And so it is a great step. And for me, I'm saying that if everything is not in place, let me just use what we have. So we have that unit going forward. And so some of the outputs, so the legislation and stuff, we're still waiting on that. And the other things that some of the output will be physical stuff, tanks will be constructed, pipelines going to be replaced and stuff and so on. And as I mentioned sometime before, the great thing about the way this proposal was written, the GCF is not giving you money for infrastructure improvement. But we are saying that, listen, we want to do improvement that's going to help and benefit when it comes to the energy consumption and the sustainability and that stuff. So that's the route that we took. So the output number 2 is the biggie. Non-revenue water. We in the business we call it NRW, and that is basically water that we produce that we do not collect any revenue on. Okay. So the truth of the matter is, NRW could be 100%. If you have a system where you're not collecting any money at all, but you know how much water you're producing. This is a term that has been recently upgraded from what was called the unaccounted for water. The unaccounted for just means you don't know. You have a loss and you have no idea where it went. Non-revenue, you do have, so unaccounted kind of gets in there with non-revenue. You have water that's being produced, but you're just not collecting any money on it. Okay? So in terms of non-revenue water, we have a couple areas in terms of how water could be lost. There's so-called real losses, and then we have what's called apparent losses. So real losses could be things like overflows, we pump water from our wells into tanks here in Nevis, and then gravity does most of the work, you know. And so the system we chose, because if a pump goes down, we shouldn't panic. We have some level of storage. We try to aim for 3 days storage supply. Based on this project and the evidence that they're finding, we're somewhere about two and something. So we need some more storage.
How come you aim for 3 and not 5?
That is a standard. That's a good question. That is a standard thing, international, where we aim for 3 days, because I guess based on calculation, we figure we could resolve whatever it is that's affecting us in the 3 day supply, that 3 day time frame. Okay. It's also something related to disaster too. Disaster comes in and knock you out. You figure within 3 days you could get some resemblance of restoration, you know, after a major disaster. So our real losses: we have leaks, we have overflows. Like I said, we pump to the tanks. We have theft, and then we have unbilled accounts. And
did you say theft?
Yes.
yes.
How do I figure?
Water?
Yeah, man. Go disconnect the meter, take off the meter, use the water, you know. Sorry.
Do we have that here?
We suspect we don't have a lot of it. And like I was telling Miss Lewis, that, you know, our system is small, it's relatively intimate. Some of us have worked for a long time in it, so we kind of know. But what we are forced to do now is go with the science and not with the feeling. Let us check the numbers to make sure that if we think something is in a certain level, let me just use the numbers to.
Now, the truth is, Floyd, sorry for stopping you there.
Come on.
I had a conversation with a gentleman not too long ago about, I don't know the kind of pipes that you use now, but he said to me that somebody stole a water meter from a particular place, right? And he knew that somebody stole it. I don't know, how do you know that somebody stole it? He said, well, if water department took it, they would have capped the pipe. But this person bent the pipe and tied it with a wire, right? So you could imagine how much water was lost during that process. So he bent the pipe, took the meter, then bent the pipe and tied it with wire. So I suppose there's some degree of theft going on.
There is some. I mean, and it's kind of hard to quantify, but...
how do you identify these kind of things?
I think it goes take surveillance. I mean, we got to get out there, have people report. They can do so anonymously. You know, you don't have to say who you are. Just give us an idea. We go in the area, and you'll see the evidence sometimes. I think that's one of the reasons there's a high fine for tampering with the meter. I think it's about $1,000. Can't remember. But the whole idea is the deterrent. And I think that, again, with this project now and having systems in place to really check to see how much of this we have happening. And because in the case of theft, one is too much. You know.
Are there cases where maybe during road construction and so on that meters are covered?
That happens.
The meters are covered. So where do we go from there?
So
you spoke of reporting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing. Well, in this system, the meter readers are really first responders, so to speak. Because they're out there every month looking for a meter. If you can't find it, then somebody needs to be notified that, hey, meter A, this month I didn't see it. Okay, we haven't gotten to the point yet of having things tagged by GPS so we can know the exact locations. That's an option, and it's not a difficult option, to be honest, because again, if the meter reader is out there every month, it doesn't take much for them to go out and tag where that meter is. One of the other things that could be done again is your policy and your approach, where you put the meter. You know,
I was just going to ask you that.
And bury it and do certain things to protect it, put it in a box that even if it gets covered up, at least you'll be protected. Because sometimes when you talk about Chesley, it gets destroyed during that time. Not only that it get covered, sometimes it gets totally destroyed. So there are some things, and this project is going to bring out processes for us to deal with that kind of stuff. So we do have a plan to kind of minimize that kind of stuff. One of the other things that this project is going to bring in terms of so-called, well, before I get to that, let me finish the list here. I was talking about unbilled accounts, and primarily in Nevis, those are government accounts. Okay? And in a pre-conversation before we got here, Miss Lois was telling me dishearteningly about the amount of water. I mean, the schools waste a lot of water. And we use the word waste, not use, but waste. We know that. Primary school probably more than the high schools, you know, younger kids. But not because of that reality we just give up. You really got to put some management systems in place for that kind of stuff. And it starts with the information. The meter reader goes out every month. You come in, you compare, you do a calculation based on how much, based on how much water you think somebody should consume. And if you know, so there are ways. And even if you don't want to do a calculation, then you watch the number, you try to put strategies in place, and your number should be improving.
Yes.
You know, so I think that's one thing that's lacking, and so on. So the other big part of NRW is what's called apparent losses. One of the big ways in which we lose water, and it seems like we're losing water, that's why it's called apparent. We're not really losing it, but we're just not recording it properly. Meters, the kind of meters that we use over the years, like anything else, like us, we get older, we're not as efficient, you know. And these meters are mechanical, so they have little cog wheels that one turn the other and turn the other, and they're plastic. They're weighed out. So the meter doesn't register as accurately.
But haven't you been changing meters in the last couple of months?
We have been and stuff, but we are still a good ways behind.
Oh, okay.
We're still a good ways behind, and these things are not cheap either. The meters are not cheap. So that's one thing. One thing I actually was revealed through this project was that even the water quality could be an issue. We have hard water, the water deposits stuff on the meter, basically chokes up the meter. So the meter doesn't, again, record as efficiently. So the meter, 20 gallons of water comes through, the meter says, boy, it's only 10. Where the meter reads that, has no reason to question it, puts the information in, we have lost 10 gallons there, you know, and so that's the whole idea of apparent losses. There could be mistakes by the meter reader themselves. You know, again, there's a 2 for whatever number is close to a 2, you know, and you make a mistake. And so it shows that you have used less water than you actually have used. And also when it comes to data entry. So those are some of the things that right now that contributes to the NRW. I don't know if Miss Lois has a contribution on that, but that's basically what NRW is. I do have some quick numbers here, and this is based on production and consumption levels from 2024. We are showing that based on the numbers I had, it's just over 576 million imperial gallons of water that was produced. Okay. We are showing consumption at only 380, just over 380 million. So we are looking at about a 38% loss, and that's NRW, which includes the government meters. Now, the so-called low-hanging fruit. Okay, so I'm saying that we have these meters that are showing that, hey, a school shouldn't be using that much water. What do we do? And so we decided doing surveys. I'll give you a quick story. Donald Sargent, who is in my unit, we sat one day and we were looking at the numbers, and it was the old custom building, which is just across from us, and then also the Red Cross building. And I guess just by experience, when I looked at the numbers, like, those numbers not making any sense. So we got up, walked across by and as you approach the taxi stand right there to go down by the whole iron shed, you heard the meter chattering. That's how we call it. You could just hear it going. And I looked at him and I said, I mean, that in itself is telling you something is going on. Yes. Usually when the meter reader gets out there, we again expect them to check certain things. You hear the meter chattering, you look around the house, you call, there's nobody there, something is not right. Okay? And so those are evidence that we try to use to start to resolve stuff. When we got into the old Treasury building, there was a toilet in there just running. God knows how long it was running for. You know, the Red Cross building did say that there was a leak and they were dealing with it and so on. But the point is that there's the evidence from the numbers to say, for the start of the survey, to say something is going on. And so those are some of the basic ways in which we try to address this NRW. So in terms of, say, correction.
Let me ask you a hard question.
Sure.
Very hard question, Floyd. I'm sorry that I have to ask you because you're my friend.
Yeah.
But do the ordinary consumer end up paying for these wastage?
Maybe not directly. Again, the meter, so...
Floyd,
yes, sir.
It's not directly or indirectly. Answer the question.
It takes energy, first of all, to pump the water to where it is. And we ultimately pay taxes, etc., pay bills for this process. And it takes energy to chlorinate it. So when it's lost to the system, then that is essentially a loss that we're experiencing that we have paid for indirectly. So it does matter that we try to reduce this non-revenue water losses. To be honest, 38% sounds really bad, but there are other countries that are much worse, and everybody's actively working to reduce this non-revenue water losses. So,
All right. Well, you spoke earlier about overflow, right? And maybe you don't have any control over this, but in the homes, systems overflow. And I guess a lot of persons send the water into a soakaway or something.
Yeah.
Any advice, Kenisha, along that line?
well,
Yes,
here's the
but-
thing.
yeah.
If you have a small area, like you live in a small plot of land or something, it becomes more difficult to manage that kind of water. But if you have a large enough area of land, you could be sending that overflow water, that excess water, to do work.
Yes.
Do some farming. Let it go in and soak into the soil. Earlier I talked about one of the importance of trees. And it's a bit of a complex concept, but if you look it up, there are cute little YouTube videos on it. There's something called hydraulic water redistribution. And that essentially means when it rains heavily, large trees and stuff can take their roots that are closer to the surface, and take those small roots and take the water and bring it down to their deeper roots and put it deeper in the soil. And when there's less water available, they can take their deeper roots and bring it back up to areas to their more shallow roots. This keeps the plant always growing, photosynthesizing. So there's no such thing really as excess water. We just need to know where we should put it so that it works and supports the way we want to live, supports our environment. So if you have a small area of land, unfortunately, it might mean that that water goes off to a drain or something like that. If you have a large enough area of land, let it go into your environment. As we send water to drains and stuff like that, there are ways that other countries have dealt with this. You have artificially created wetlands that collect this water, and it treats the water too, and then this water can then go overflow into a stream or into the ocean, and that's important too, to let water flow through these natural streams and water bodies. So keeping systems functioning as they should beyond where we're at, of being concerned about just the human use of it, is also vitally important. Yeah.
All right.
And so, Ren, the hard question, I guess the answer is yes.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes. Okay.
But you asked an interesting question, Chesley, about the cisterns, and you also asked about the overflow in general. We have things, I mean, when you look at your toilet, nobody toilets overflow unless this stuff is not working properly. And simple technology, so that could be used. And so we do have devices in the system where we could reduce the overflow, even prevent them. The thing about some of these things when it comes to on the commercial level is that the cost is sometimes prohibitive and you can't move as well as you plan to. And so, but we have systems that we could put in place to reduce that. I wanted to double back real quick. Well, before I do that, so what I wanted to look at again, as we're talking about NRW and trying to reduce this number, there are some things that the utility can do, and then there's some things that our consumers can do. Yeah? And so on the utility side, again, and the overflow, when I ran the numbers, it's only about 1%. And I said only, but again, still a ways, And so that is an opportunity to reduce that. On the other side, when it comes to some of these other things that we talk about, theft and stuff, of course, the consumers could give us a heads up where we see situations like that. We do have the numbers to see. I mean, the billing system calculates your average usage. So if your average usage drops, it may not mean that you're stealing, but something is happening. So we have to investigate and follow up. So they're indicators. One of the things on the consumer side too, leaks. Sometimes the leaks. One good thing about our system is that the pipes are really close to the road, pretty visible. So when you're going for your morning walk, you run, even your drive, you could hear it. And so as I'm talking about that, I just want to mention an emergency number. It's not you.
No, it's just
An emergency number for the water department, 763-5319. And that's a number that you could use if you see any leaks out there and stuff on the mains, because that means that's water lost before it even gets into the system for it to be consumed. And so that's on the consumer side, where you can be assisted. I find that divisions are still very alert and very conscientious about this. Sometimes we get calls. I was on a show one time and somebody complained that it took about 3 weeks for us to come. I hope that number has been, that time frame has been reduced. I won't give out my personal number, but people who know me would call me and say, hey, Floyd, I know they do the same to Roger. Miss Louise herself has texted me and said, so there's a collaboration going on when it comes to that. So I want to encourage folks to continue doing that.
It's not altogether bad.
No.
If you know somebody that you can depend on, most likely you'll run to that person.
It's a small community, and we understand that.
Yes.
And we don't say water is life as a joke.
Exactly.
So when we get a call, whatever time of the night it is what we signed up for, and it's okay.
All right, okay. Let's take a pin there and just acknowledge one of our advertisers for an event coming up.
Take 2 days to shop your way. Savings for today. We're always so nice. We're treating you so right. It's Friday. Celebrate Friday with 2 days of super savings at the TDC Home and Building Depots and Automotive Divisions in St. Kitts and Nevis. Shop your way on Friday 28th and Saturday 29th November and get 25% off in store and online at shoptdcgroup.com. Get everything you need before the holiday rush begins. This weekend, celebrate Saturday. Head to your favorite TDC retail store, the place for holiday savings. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details. TDC. Together, we succeed.
Okay, so we're back. And Floyd, I don't know if I could continue that conversation that we started. You don't mind?
No, not at all.
Okay, so I'm saying sometimes there's a lot of wastage that cannot be controlled by the domestic consumers, right? For instance, here's my example. I don't know if it's an ultimate or if it's the best one, but I have in one of my bathrooms what they may have, I don't know if they call it the modern the inner part of the toilet tank, right?
Okay.
It seems to me it's a kind of hydraulic kind of mechanism, right? Not the conventional ball valve that you're accustomed to. You when the tank fills up, the ball floats up and then the valve stops the water from running in, right? Now it's a little thing, a little round thing, and it drops down to the bottom of the tank when it's empty, and then when the tank's full, it kind of comes up like a slides up on a pole.
Yes.
It doesn't always work. As far as I'm concerned, I've heard a lot of people complain about them. What can the water department do about this in reference to the what do you call those? The suppliers?
I think the issue is more because of our water quality. That hard water, those deposits that you see on your faucets and outside on your pots, and the water that our last customer said she's not going to drink because of those deposits, that thing doesn't slide as well. So I think when it's brand new and everything is fine, because I personally understand what you said. I had to pull one out the other day because it goes up a certain way and doesn't go all the way up to stop the water. Of course, the water keeps running.
Right.
And the thing about the toilet is that nobody hangs around in the toilet to see or make sure it's full.
Well, I'm a good listener.
Yeah.
I would normally hear that little hum somewhere in the building,
And yeah, so that's a place. As a matter of fact, that's probably the biggest, the place where you lose most water in the house is in your toilet. So yeah, that thing, when it's a different design of the float. So instead of it being the ball and there's an arm for it to swing, it just slides up. And if it's inhibited for any reason, it doesn't shut off. So I'm not sure, honestly. So nothing is wrong with the design. It's just that the environment in which it works.
Maybe perhaps from time to time, a little dilute vinegar treatment or something.
You're gonna clean it up. You're gonna clean it up.
Dissolve the deposits and clean it up a bit.
So a little bit of maintenance on the consumer side to keep it going.
I'm one of those traditionalists, you know. I prefer my ball valve because it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then again, I suppose you'll tell me, you know, things evolve, you know, technology improve and all that.
And like anything else, I mean, I could pull a trailer with a small Vatara. It's not designed for that. Yeah. So and the point about that is the environment. You know, I can use something to do something and it's not really designed to do that. So it doesn't work as well, and you think something is that the design is flawed when really it's the environment that it works in. You know?
Another option would be a water softener before the water enters your home, but that is a cost that you would incur as a consumer to have a water softener.
I think the consumers will be happy to know that we at the water services have started that conversation about softening the water. And I say start the conversation because anything as a cost is involved. And one of the tricky thing about water...
Well, we understand that, you don't have to say anything else, Floyd. We understand that everything involves a cost.
Well,
I think we've gotten there.
The tricky thing about water, though, is that it is necessary for life. So you can't price it out the market.
Okay.
So whatever is put into water, at some level, it must be concessionary, you know. And I think the rate demonstrate that 0 to 2,000 gallons is at $13, and above that, you pay a little bit more. So you get a certain amount that is enough for you to sustain life. You know, your cooking and everything, your daily water consumption. And then as you use more, then obviously you should pay more. But what we are looking to do and stuff with that, and our system is really is designed, I think, very nicely for that, where the water softener could go at the start. So for example, I think we discussed this the last time. The water from Madden's makes its way through Brickhill to Camps into Jessop's. And then water from Gingerland side comes through Fothergills up to Stonehill and comes down that side. So we have two good starting points where we could do the softening. All the pumps pump to those areas. We could do the softening, and then everything from there would be treated. So like I said, we have looked at it a couple years ago when we were doing a filtration plant in Hamilton. We looked at it, but not in any full detail as yet. And I think as time goes on and the customer demands the improved quality, because we kind of joked the last time that you could have just take the little cloth off the tank or the drum, brush away the wigglers and drink the water. That standard, that is definitely not the standard now. So as thing goes on and the customer demand better, you know, and I think we have to respond. That's probably the next step. You know, some people do have water softeners at their home. Those who could afford it have it at their homes and stuff, and that helps.
Are you referring to what we call a pressure reducing valve or something like that?
No, the pressure reducing valve is the PRV. That's a popular abbreviation. That is just designed to cut the pressure down.
Okay.
Our terrain gives us. There's some cases where we have a whopping 150 psi coming to your house. And again, your toilet is probably the first place that suffers because of pressures like that.
Yes.
You know, so the PRV cuts that down to a more manageable pressure of 90. And I mean, honestly, the pressure coming into your house should be somewhere around 70. No, 70 and 70 is 140. We already doubled that. And it just doesn't do anything good. So that's what the PRV is for. In some cases, when we actually install a new connection, because of the pressure, we do add a PRV, so the customer wouldn't have any issues. You know.
All right. Well, okay. You mentioned earlier, you gave us some figures relating to the consumption of water in categories. All right. Well, the farmers consume quite a bit of water, right? Have we been able to comfortably meet the demand of water required for farming?
Very good question, Chesley. In some cases, there are few farmers. Well, the challenging thing about farming in Nevis is that there are very few full-time farmers. Very few. Water resources, all the cross-sectorial situations, we are heavily involved in a lot of the projects for agriculture because one of the main inputs is water. And so we are finding that that's one of the challenges where the part-time farmers are not very conscientious about their water consumption. You pass in the morning, you check your field, you might turn on the water, go to work, and you think you're turning it on just a little bit, whatever that is. At the end of the day, the field is flooded. or maybe in the evening. And so you have that kind of situation where it's really hard to manage exactly what the farmers really need. We have calculations that plants consume X amount of water, some plants are more.
It will vary, but yeah.
And you do that kind of calculation, but the truth of the matter is, again, as a part-time farmer, nobody's sitting and doing those calculations. You go by experience. Banana takes a lot of water, so that's why it's always by your runoff, by your kitchen, you soak away, whatever, and you tiny and that kind of stuff. So what we are trying to do as part of this unit, and as we evolve and we progress, is to really get into the science of these things. We got to get into the science and understand the numbers. Of course, I'm not downplaying the experience of a farmer. You farm for 40 years, sometimes down to a gallon how much it requires. So there has to be a combination of the experience versus the scientific approach for us to really now start idle. So we are working towards that, trying to understand. So honestly, based on the numbers I have here for 2024, I think it's only 6% the farmers use. And so when you look at some of the numbers, a lot, yes, in comparison. But the truth of the matter is, it's really difficult to get a good handle. I have to say that. One of the things we're trying to do when it comes to the farming is to get the farmers back onto other sources. That's a big thing right now. I think I mentioned some time ago that we have about 6 water catchments over in the Westbury area, and I was in a meeting, I think it was Danny Atherton, and he said about 2 million gallons, and I smiled because that was my calculation. About 2 million gallons of water just sits there. Ms. Lewis mentioned the runoff. We're talking about now trying to dam or train the water. A lot of water comes on the streets now. And we have no control over it. It goes straight to the ocean untreated. So there are a couple of projects that we're working on trying to capture that water that hopefully we could use for agriculture and get them off of the government supply. Because treating water, again, is expensive compared to,
It's because it's also primarily from aquifers. There's a likelihood of higher salinity, not really a big issue, but it can build up over time in your soils and create problems too. So ideally, rain-fed agriculture is best. But for now, because of our irregularity with rainfall and stuff and the unpredictability and that increased runoff that we see on roads and stuff, water doesn't infiltrate the soil, we're dependent on this water supply.
Okay, all right. Let's just run this ad again for TDC. Sure. We're having some sales today.
With 2 days of super savings at the TDC Home and Building Depots and automotive divisions in St. Kitts and Nevis. Shop your way on Friday 28th and Saturday 29th November and get 25% off in store and online at shoptdcgroup.com. Get everything you need before the holiday rush begins. This weekend, celebrate Saturday. Head to your favorite TDC retail store, the place for holiday savings. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details. TDC. Together, we succeed.
All right, and we are back, and you're in tune to the good old days here on 2020 Vision Radio, and we are having part 2 of the St. Kitts and Nevis Chance Water Project. And with us are Ms. Kenisha Lewis, environmentalist, I would dare say. She's the teacher of environmental science at the Charleston Secondary School and Sixth Form College. All right, and we have the veteran, Mr. Floyd Robinson. He has been an engineer, water engineer at the Nevis Water Department. And when you think of all the sports that have been played in Nevis, you think of Floyd Robinson, all right? So they are sharing. Okay, yes, Floyd, water conservation? Yes? Yes.
Every sport minus cricket.
You didn't play cricket?
Yeah.
The hard ball was coming after fast ball.
Oh boy.
Well, before we get on to conservation, I guess it's conservation of some type in terms of the utility, what we do to reduce some of these losses that we have. one of the things that the project is going to bring is this thing called SCADA. It's an acronym. It stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. And what it basically means is that we can sit right where we are on a computer and see what's going on with the pumps, whether they're running, how full the tanks are, and stuff like that. And then that's the supervisory part, where we could just look and see. And then the next level is actually being able to control that. So we see a tank is filling up, or even if it's signs of running over, we hit a button and the pump stops. So right now, the SCADA is being implemented. The project is supposed to bring that. And one of the things about these projects when they're thought of is that sometimes the utility is already on the way. Yeah? And I do feel like we are at an advanced stage with this SCADA that by the time the project comes online, that money has to shift to something else. So the guys at Water Department are doing a fantastic job. We could now log in and see the tank levels, see pumps running. They have flow meters so you could see what the flows look like. One of the things, for example, when you think of the Fothergills area, that tank feeds all the way down to Hickman's, all the way back towards Gingerland, and all the way over to New River. And the night flows of that tank between 12 and 6 in the morning is sometimes only 10 gallons a minute. Now, that's absolutely wonderful, because it is showing that we don't have any significant losses in the system. But that is something that we could see. We have something and empirical data to see it. We don't have to guess that yesterday the tank had in 20 feet and tomorrow morning it was only 10 and try to figure out what's going on. So the technology and the science is bringing it to the point now that we don't have to do too much running around to figure out what's going on.
You're not working hard, you're working smart.
We're working smart.
Okay,
and
good.
so the
the
system does that. We are in the process of getting the other tanks online. I've been challenging them to get to the one at Hamilton because our night flows in Hamilton are not making any sense. So we want to get to there so we could now do an analysis and see what's going on with Hamilton. So that's one of the improvements that's going to come with the project. Or, as a matter of fact, like I said, it's happening right now. So that's one of the things we're doing on the other side. The other thing too that this is going to do, if we do have a leak, again, we'll be alerted. Again, the flow rate jumps up at a certain time, and these systems are designed to set limits. So if you go above a certain limit, you get an alert, and you could figure, okay, what's going on? It could be a spike, it could be an error, but at least if it's not, you get an alert. So that also is coming with the system. So those are some of the things on the utility side that's being done to reduce this NRW number. As we go towards the consumers, what they could do, and I would want to encourage, we were talking about and encourage our callers, our listeners to talk about some of the things that they do in terms of conservation, because you asked an interesting question about the cost and who has to pay for what. And sometimes because the actual cost that we pay for the water bill, we don't see the true cost of the input. I want to emphasize that water is heavily subsidized by governments, and this is true throughout the Caribbean. This is true. There's some islands that are heavily Tortola, Anguilla, Antigua that has mainly desal, which is a more expensive source, and they're paying for that. Have no choice because, again, the type of islands that they are, they don't have any abundance of groundwater or any other sources, so they have to go to desalination, and they're paying for it. So even though you're not paying monetarily a lot for water, we have to understand it's subsidized, and at some point, that fuel has to be paid for, that Nebelec uses to run the energy to supply our pumps. And it is interesting that when it comes to electricity, we come into a room or we leave in the room and the light is on, we can turn it off. But we're not that conscientious about the water. And this morning before I got on the show, I was thinking, well, technically, you turn off the pipe, you're saving the energy. You're turning off the lights. Whether it's a physical light, whatever you're using saves on the other side. So just want to encourage our consumers that, whatever you do when it comes to water consumption, be conscientious about it. There's a nice ad on the radio where that says, let's do one thing. And you figure what you want to do, whether it's about when you use a cup to brush your teeth, you take shorter showers, that kind of stuff. Whatever you do, focus, and you will go from there. I do my mayonnaise jar, for brushing my teeth. A little bit of the old time thing mixed in, the good old days, and I use that, and sometimes it's so funny, sometimes I'm there, the cup is there, Let them have the preference. I'm like, my, you know, and I'm in the business, I'm supposed to know, but it's just like a habit sometimes.
It's
So
like,
you have to
it's like leaving your toothbrush inside and go outside and pick bush.
So I don't know if the consumers, if the listeners have any contribution they want to make, I want to encourage them to call in and talk about how they conserve water.
Of course.
Yes.
But we do have a long list.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fred, I want
let's just give them remind people of the numbers. If you're not on Facebook, of course, if you're on Facebook, you should see the numbers. But just in case you're not, you're listening on 2020 Vision. I mean on 102.1 FM. Numbers are 1-869-669-7312, and most persons have cell phones, so that's a WhatsApp number, right? Or 469-7953. Or if you're off island, you can reach us at 917-460-2187.
Okay, yes. I was going to ask Kenisha, though, now, as a teacher of environmental science, okay,
Yes.
now, have you been able to convince the youngsters that, you know, water conservation is an important part of taking care of our environment? Go ahead.
We typically have that discussion. What are some practices that you use? Do you leave the shower on the whole time when you're bathing? And the majority of the students say yes, because nowadays we quite enjoy the warm water. And so if you're living in an area where the water gets cold, if you turn it off even temporarily or something like that, they leave it running, so the air around you is cold. They leave it running to stay nice and warm and cozy in the shower.
And some people stay in the bathroom like half an hour. I don't understand. They finish bathing and they're still in the bathroom. I don't understand. I bathe in less than 5 minutes.
I feel like I'm drowning if it's too humid in the bathroom. So we have that discussion about some of their common habits, things they do. They will admit, like, if they go to a grandparent's home, that they will see the cup in the bathroom that is meant for you to catch the water to brush your teeth. And many of them do implement certain habits, like most will turn off the taps, because you've been hearing about that since you're in primary school. So turn off the tap while they're actively brushing and then turn it on. But the shower one, we're at loggerheads, because that is one, so far I haven't been able to convince them it's a good idea to turn it off. They like the spray. So in a case like that, there are shower diffusers and different things you can use, and low flow shower heads where you will still get that water, but you're not using as much water in that interval. But I think some of them were open to that transition to turning off the shower while they're bathing. It's like, how will I convince somebody to move back from a washing machine and go and wash their clothes by hand and beat them on a rock or something? Advancements, and so sometimes the technology advances with us that allow us to still have those conservation habits, but live the lifestyle we want. We enjoy comfort. We seek it. It's natural. So, but we have those discussions. I brought up the washing machine, so habits that I've practiced and we discuss with the students is, if you're going to use a washing machine, and many of our students do still hand wash their at least school uniforms to keep them in good condition, but if you're going to use the washing machine, we talk about having a full load as much as possible, or sometimes just coordinating your clothes. If you're working, that you wear darks, mostly darks this week, so you have a large load of darks, or something along that line, so you wash a large load of one thing rather than multiple small loads of different things, which conserves quite a bit of water. Depending on the style of machine you have, if you have a top load machine, they aim to fill the barrel up, and if you ever look at the amount of water they fill for a small, many of them are smart now, but and they have the auto sensors, but if you put in a small load, they fill it almost halfway up, compared to, you'll use similar if you go to large, the water amount is similar. So there's a reason for that in the way they function, that they need a certain weight, a certain volume to spin and do their job. So they beat your clothes clean. But yeah, so just being conscientious of that, little things like that along the way adds up significantly.
And I think that this public education, obviously, for it to be transformative, it has to be repetitive. You know, sometimes we feel like we come in and teach the lesson and, you know, class is over. But it has to be a habit forming, changing kind of thing. And like I said, I'm in the business, and sometimes my mind, I'm there brushing my teeth, and my mind is wandering, and I turn on the pipe and start to, and I'm like, but the cup of water, the boy.
I will say, one of the most effective things is the parent who yells at them, "May I pay for the water, don't I?" And then they remember and come out and turn it off. So we do need the input and stuff. I've had that experience myself, so it works.
So after light in the room, and like I said, we just have to get that thing now in terms of, and I think the cost is what, because electricity costs more than water, so we're more conscientious about that. You know, turn off the light, turn off the this, close the fridge boiler, you know, and we got to get to the point where. For water, there has to be a balance. Again, because of the need for water. Again, we can't price water out the market. And so we have to come up with these tier prices and stuff and so on. So with time, you know, and a couple evolutions, we kind of get closer to where it should be. But the education is definitely a big thing. And like some of the things we talk about in terms of the conservation, you know, washing your cars. As a matter of fact, it's interesting, the car washes. I don't think we have any policies regarding them. And I came back here and I'm like, we got 5 car washes. And I'm like, whoa, hold on now. You know, and you could have a number of things. The recycling of the water, for example. Half of the folks I don't think any of them do that. They might put it into a soaker where put it away somewhere, but no recycling. You know, even using some rainwater harvesting to do their stuff, and of course, again, rainwater gives you a better wash than the hard water from the. So there are things that, and we're not asking people to go break the bank to get some of these things in place, but we look at it, and it could be progressive. I mean, for all of those.
You mean you could break the bank for another reason?
I'm sorry?
You could break the bank for another reason?
Why, there are a couple of reasons, you know. Anybody who don't have a small business operation, you know, that capital investment initially is a little bit hefty. So, you know, and as government go along, we you know, you try to spread out that cost for people, and you say, hey, boy, you know, next 2 years or so, you have to get this upgrade, and you check, because at the end, right now, we have not suffered here on Nevis, and I use the word suffered, any outages, water, you know, rationing for a while. And we are now trying to find new sources, and we tend to feel like we are okay. One of the updates we got from this Transwater project saying this is 2030 now, so in another 20 years of stuff, if we continue doing what we're doing and stuff, we're gonna be in some serious trouble. You know, when I you know, you listen to the proposal, you listen, sometimes it's virtual, and I was back home, it was late one night, and I'm going through the recording, and I was like, whoa, hold on a second. Because the now for now feel like it's going to be the now for later, you know, and it's not, you know. And when you think about, for those of us, Lois is too young for this, the carrying of the water, and the kind of things that we used to where we are now, we feel like we have progress, and we don't, and sometimes we forgot what it costs for the progress, you know. And so as things are now, all of a sudden with climate change, that is just, I mean, you have, this morning when you were talking about the rain fell for about 2 minutes. I was at the beach, hard and done.
Yes.
You know, and that's one thing we discussed at the Climate Outlook Forum in St. Kitts, where the intensity, and again, we have to now measure that, because, you know, when we used to say rainfall back in our day is very different to rainfall now.
That's true.
And again, with harder surfaces, more runoff, so there's a whole lot of different changes. Sometimes I look at the information, and I think that we still, quantity-wise, we get similar amount of rainfall, but the way it falls and where it falls and stuff is so different that it's affecting us in a negative way.
I think I've been observing that it seems to me that we get some rain almost every morning around 3 o'clock. Well, at least in my area.
Yeah, there's sometimes in the Charleston that happens, but then again, less than 5 minutes is done.
Yes.
You know, but the way it comes down is like, oh goodness, flash flood kind of thing, but then it finishes really quickly. I wanted to add about the water. I mean, the ocean, for some reason, we don't use the ocean as divisions like we used to. I was telling a friend back in the Good Friday days and stuff, there was no room at Penny's Beach. You know, we don't go to the beach, but that's and then we have the hot springs. Those are areas outside of the household where water is more available for that recreational kind of stuff that we probably need to now adjust to. I know the beach is scary for some, for most maybe, but you could, like anything else, you could do it safely. But so what we're aiming to do here again, and like you said, Chesley, and well, I think it was Renee, come when I feel like, kind of thing,
Yes.
come back when I feel, is to get the public alerted that it's a slow-moving train. But if we don't take care of it and it crashes, it could really have some serious consequences. You know, aquifer management is not easy. You know, a lot of time we don't know what's going on under there based on what kind of volcanic type. When you have a limestone aquifer, maybe that's a little easier. Miss Lewis made mention to the land subsidence. I think in California when they had some terrible drought some years ago. You see it on Google Earth. You see where the land just dropped because and people emptied aquifers over there. Literally, farmers who had wells. And that's one of the things that, you know, again, going back again to the unit, we are responsible for managing the abstraction. So any and everybody can go drill a well. Because we got to, and if the policy goes to that, then we must know who they are, where they are, how much they're abstracted, so we could do the numbers and say it's okay or it's not okay. In the U.S. in a lot of regions, there's not that kind of control. I was really surprised in Florida. You could just hire somebody and drill a well and move on. And Florida is an area that's crazy for land, for cave-ins and stuff. And part of it has a lot to do with the fact of the unregulated abstraction. But that is the whole idea here, where we are trying to educate our folks and all of us, and we move together. Because back in the day, I think you mentioned, Ren, about some of these storms. It's only the experts that knew what they were talking about. You know, and with the availability of information now, people could easily go and contradict me if I'm wrong. You know, find information and say, well, Floyd, you know, what you say? I say this, and you know, and you have to. So, and that's a good thing, because at least the public is educating themselves, and we could move together. I mean, my job and our jobs in the water services is to provide this thing, but it's not just like give you whatever we feel like we want to give you. There's a whole dynamic to it, and the more we understand about what it's about, and the better we can preserve it. And so the big word of sustainability comes a little easier to manage, you know, and that kind of stuff. So it is interesting as we go forward with this project, because what we're looking forward to in 2026 or so, you know, 2026 right around the corner.
Yep.
more like 2027, maybe mid 2026, you start to see some things, because one of the next steps for the project is to put this NRW unit in place. So we don't really have one, but because it's so important, what we try to do in the business is to at least start laying the foundation.
Yes.
But it requires a whole unit of staff. I think they're looking at 5 people to come in and get all the numbers and understand, get the upgrade in terms of smart meters. Again, that feeds into the SCADA system. So you have a meter that's out there that's telling you when things are running high, when it's running low, give you averages of the flow. So we could know what's going on. If we see a meter that's giving 400 gallons a minute at 3 o'clock in the morning, unless there's a fire somewhere, then something is wrong. You know, so that's
I was just gonna raise that. Like, I mean, even let's say a fire, you know, you could have a broken pipe somewhere in the property and you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
You know, but the meter should tell you that, isn't it?
And there's some things, I mean, from years ago when I was manager, there was something called a burst valve. And it's designed to set a maximum limit that if you don't have a leak and it exceeds that, the flow exceeds that, the valve shuts down. So at least you save the water, and then you have to, of course, go looking for the leak. But so the technology has advanced, and we are looking to incorporate this. On the other side of this project, and I didn't mention much of it last time, is the energy side. Like I said, the geothermal. So that hasn't happened yet. So this is still hinging heavily on that going forward. I think most individuals, when you pass around by Madden's, you see most of the windmills are down. But I had an encouraging conversation with one of the IT guys, and apparently they're doing some software upgrade. So that's why they're down. So in short order, hopefully about 2 months they'll be back up. So that was really encouraging. Nevlec also has planned to put down some solar panels in that area too. On the Sinkit side, they're kind of going more with solar, and of course geothermal comes along, then there's the whole sharing thing. So, but their first phase would be solar panels.
I thought Sinkit would be doing this out.
Well, in terms of the energy, in terms of the supply of the energy.
Oh, okay. Yes.
You know, because this low carbon resilient thing is about the energy. At the end of the day, when you're done, your energy consumption should come down and be more reliant on a sustainable green energy source. So, but yeah, but in terms of them too, and also the other part of this stuff about the management, as you mentioned, this Sal. So if we back up, we have rainwater harvested as one source. We have damming of our water courses of that. We have recycle and reuse in terms of that. And we don't do a lot of that in Nevis. Not on any high level way. We have now desalination. All of these things are supposed to come together. And Nevis is going to choose what proportion is best for Nevis. We have a good culture of rainwater harvesting. When you mentioned, Chesley, about systems running over, I smiled and I said, well, systems are running over because we're not using the water.
Yes, exactly.
And so, I have their concerns again, the water quality, but I think some of those are easily rectified, relatively easily rectified. And so, again, we have to find that balance. And so this unit and this project is going to try to now put something in place to balance, so we don't have to go 100% desalination, for example. Desalination might be, it's almost like geothermal, where there's going to be a base consumption, and then they fire up the engines at Prospect for the high consumption, or maybe even your solar panels. So we're going to have something in terms of water where you have one aspect where there's the pumps just running, and then when the spikes come along, you fire up another farm, and they bring the desal plant on. Because the one in Butlers right now, that really just sits there and waits for consumption. I mean, it is that, for the water, better word, smart. It just waits, and when it needs water, it just fires up. It also, on 100% solar, if it is cloud cover not enough energy, then it shuts down. So but then we have the alternative of switching it over to electricity if it happens during a time when there's high consumption. But the plant just sits and waits and say, you want water? Okay, fine, here you go. You don't want water? Okay, fine. And it rests. So that kind of automation also helps with, because if you don't have that, and you're still sending water when there is no need for water, then there goes the overflows and stuff like that. So in a small little island of ours, we're really happy with the progress that we've made in terms of technology. In a real quick comment, then it talks about, and this is going back to, I guess, Miss Lewis, and in the schools now, the jobs that are available, for example, are more highly technical and that kind of stuff, as opposed to the plumbing kind of job. Of course, you still have to fix the pipes. Yeah, but our issues now are coming from more low voltage kind of systems and stuff and so on now. As a matter of fact, over the last couple of years, there's the annual conference, water conference, Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association. And when you go to those meetings now, we're talking about GIS, GPS, we're talking about software more than we talk about pipes. Because that's the level now that we are in terms of management. Because most islands have got the infrastructure. Yes, there's some expansion that you need to add new pipes, but that baseline has been set and is now on a different. So in terms of where we are going and in terms of job availability, you kind of have, and sometimes when you go do a job now, you have to learn many things, eh?
Yes.
So again, when you do your studies, you kind of figure out, okay, yes, I want to be this, but you can be a X-ray operator and don't know how to do some basic maintenance on the machine. And when I come in, you tell me the machine down and that's it. So that's the kind of mentality and that's the kind of thrust that we are having that this project is going to bring.
Okay.
What do you think about maybe getting back to where physical planning can play a big role in terms of ensuring, or at least making it, I'm not sure if you want to say mandatory, or at least suggest to builders that they should, integrate systems into their homes and so on?
It is actually now mandatory
in
planning to have a cistern on your property. If it's a single household, then you can have the regular black water tanks, but it is mandatory for you to have some sort of water catchment on your property.
Okay, let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the good old days.
Yeah, good morning to you, Renford, and to the entire panel. I have a quick question. I just wanted to know. I heard a mention of desalination, right? And I'm kind of wondering, with the rainfall that we are getting, if we are doing more water harvesting and stuff like that, is it really necessary to go desal and desalination And the other thing I want to find out, if we go desal, how would that be distributed within the the water system, the water pipes and stuff like that? Would that be mixed with the other water from the well and different things? I mean, how would that work?
Well, I'm gonna
Okay, I'll listen off here.
yeah, I'm gonna let the experts answer you, but I'm gonna tell you straight up. I don't like the idea of this at all.
Well, left, Floyd. Okay.
Don't like it at all.
Floyd?
Floyd?
Okay.
So, I was right there with you, and more so because of the cost. Everything else has improved in terms of efficiency. Desal is slowly creeping up. So you have desal is the two biggest thing about desal was the cost and the environmental impact. Yeah, those are the two heavy things about desal. Again, when you think about islands like Antigua and Tortola, that conversation goes out the window because we don't have any water. So we're gonna have to bear the brunt of those other things to get the water. Nevis and other islands have other options, groundwater, rainwater harvesting and stuff and so on. But the plant that we have in Butlers was introduced because it's a solar energy plant, strictly solar. It can run strictly on solar. Like I mentioned the last time, there aren't any backup batteries because backup batteries are expensive in this whole greening thing. And so right now we have the electricity as a backup really. So we don't have to use electricity on the plant. It can run strictly on solar. The thing about it and stuff in terms of the amount of rainfall, and this is the one thing I think that is misleading when it comes to even those of us in the business about what is a lot of rainfall. As we were discussing earlier, it's shorter, quick bursts, and sometimes that rain falls outside of where you have your rain gauges, so you don't even know how much rain fell. So overall, when you look, what we have seen is a declining trend in total rainfall,
And land use, land cover changes means that a lot of the time, so when I say land use, land cover changes, again, if I change a forest area or something to agriculture or just a big pasture, or it's bare soil or it's a road, when water hits those surfaces, it doesn't have time to actually go down into the ground, it just runs off. So when we change the environment that exists, we may be getting rainfall, we may be getting sufficient rainfall, but unlike in the past where it had time to hit the leaves, run down the stem, and slowly make its way into the soil and down into the aquifers, it now hits a hard surface and just straight off into the ocean and into the guts.
And a lot of time when we do development, we are not looking at the feasibility studies, the impact studies to see really the long-term effects. I mean, everybody enjoys that nice smooth road when it's done. And then after a while somebody said, but hold on, when so-and-so when that used to be there and stuff, this used to happen. And it's again that experience from our elders that bring you to that point. And then you realize, okay, and even sometimes when you now learn that, you're going to do the same thing over again with the next road, you know?
And one of the components, and that, again, there are costs with these because as I would say in my classes sometimes, we tend to screw things up and then pay a big cost to try to correct it. But when we build roads, there are roads that can be built that allow for water infiltration. There are things we can do to allow water to filter down rather than just run off. But we built in a particular way that was, at the time, the cheaper option, the convenient option, and should last long. But now we have redesigned, we're looking at different ways, different materials that we can build with that allow for these natural processes to occur again. Because as we talk about recycling water and all the water treatment plants and stuff, you go to the US and stuff, the idea might sound abhorrent to us here, but a lot of the places you go, the water is treated water, and sometimes it's sewage treated water that is sent through the pipes and comes back to you. That's a cost you incur when you had your natural environment that was doing all this work for you, filtering water, treating it, setting it up, they're just ready and waiting for you. But we reduce the natural environment's ability to do this work.
Our road engineers acquainted with this kind of information?
I am unaware of what they know, but I know the information is out there, and I'm sure they're learning. And that's one of the things I love about Nevis is we are actively learning. We're actively aiming to improve.
Okay.
So I'm quite certain it's out there.
All right. Okay.
I was gonna say the challenge. I think the guys we know, but then we have this interesting dynamics, and I don't want to say the P word, the politics word, but the time frame for accomplishing stuff tend to be different. And this is not just locally. This is a global thing. The leaders want this for whatever reason, and we don't have enough time to design it to accomplish that in a short amount of time. And so you have that conflict that goes on, and like Mr. Lewis is saying, we get it done quickly, but then in 2 years we have to go back and almost do it from scratch again, as opposed to say, hey, listen. And I think, again, the public education, this transformative project going to take about 6 years. I mean, from conception, when you add all these things before we hit the road, all this planning, call it almost 8 years. Yeah. Now, again, this is outside. This is a Green Climate Fund project, which is independent of any governmental structure to a certain point, and so you could see that that's going to run its course.
Yes.
When you have a lot of different projects that is locally funded, the expedience come at a cost. I'll leave it at that. And so, folks know, but when you're given a deadline and then we all have to answer to somebody.
Yes, I know.
And then maybe after 3-4 mess ups, then we say, boy, hold on.
Yes, Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we just passed the top of the hour, and we are going to have some giveaways coming up. All right. And then we have a story to play for you. All right. For your listening pleasure. Okay. It's on water back then. All right. And okay, so we're going to run this ad. And then, we are going to play that story for you, and then we're going to have some questions. I think Floyd and Kenisha might have one each, and I might have one, and Ren might have one. Okay? All right? All right. So let's just listen to this ad, and then we're going to take it from there.
Today, shop away. Take 2 days to shop your way. Savings for today. We're always so nice. We're treating you so right. It's Friday. Celebrate Friday with 2 days of super savings at the TDC Home and Building Depots and Automotive Divisions in St. Kitts and Nevis. Shop your way on Friday 28th and Saturday 29th November and get 25% off in store and online at shoptdcgroup.com. Get everything you need before the holiday rush begins. This weekend, celebrate Saturday. Head to your favorite TDC retail store, the place for holiday savings. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details. TDC. Together, we succeed.
All right. And just to remind you that you are in tune to the good old days here on 2020 Vision Radio. And we are on to the St. Kitts Nevis Chance Water Project. And we're happy to have with us once again Mr. Floyd Robinson and Miss Kenisha Lewis. All right. Now, we did promise that we are going to play for you a story titled Bacchanal at the Water Tank.
Yes.
All right. It just give you a little idea of how it used to be back then with water. Water was a very scarce resource, and something there was a lot of bacchanal around water. Okay, so give it a listen. And then coming up also, we're going to ask a few questions. We do have a few giveaways, so please stay tuned. Numbers to call?
469-669-7312 or I said that wrong. That should be 1-869-669-7312 or 469-7953 or 1917-460-2187.
Right, and don't forget, you can win only via the phone. So you gotta call. All right, you have to call and answer the question. All right, but listen to this story for your listening pleasure. Bacchanal at the water tank.
Bacchanal at the water tank. School children on holidays. 5 o'clock in the morning, and there was a crowd at the water tank. Everybody got the bucket or the pan to get a ton of water before the sun peep up from down yonder. People come from all over Jericho, some from miles away, to register their position officially in the line. Father, mother, children, Tooth, Mum, and Sam wait in the turn. And what a wild laughter and intense melee. You hear pan Yaga business, you hear pan news. Soki give Daryl Dr. Fish and they married the same day. The Kunumunu Bobo, he no realize that he got the wrong pick me. Jumbie kill Edgar and his funeral later. Mabel can't turn, she can, so she gets sent back home. Sarah Band pick me, and not a soul be know that she was in the baby's way. Anything you want to hear, just come a water tank. People leaving, people coming, and a sudden news a fly. But then all of a sudden, there was a big hush. Everybody looked back when somebody whisper, you watch out, the Brogo Miss Anya come. This Miss Annie was a real Terry Vera, and she think everybody feared she. So she come full water anytime she feel like, because all she got to do is march her tail to the top of the line, move everybody bucket, then put down she own to fill she water. Not even a little good morning or a little smile. She been coarse like Usada stick. She was an unwelcome sight at the water tank. But if Miss Annie been say she prays that morning, she would have saved herself plenty trouble. Little did Miss Annie know she was going to meet she match. Miss Matty was there, and she always say, no come play the fool with me, because me no clean. Miss Matty watched Miss Annie from the corner as she eye like Miss Gibson bulldog. She put she bucket under the pipe, then she stand back. She hand pan she hip, one eye pan she bucket, and the next pan Miss Annie. Miss Annie march up to the water tank. Not a sound you hear. Jumbie pass. She push Miss Matty bucket, then she put down she own. All in a flash you hear kanank. Miss Matty take Miss Annie bucket and she wet one lick in she forehead. Everybody say, Lord, Miss Annie, you dead. Miss Annie bawl out, oh my God, girl, Miss Matty, you chop me. Miss Matty was like a tiger lion. So what are you going to do about it? I bet you hear about Noite this morning. Miss Annie rush up in Miss Matty face and say, I bet you don't touch me again. Miss Matty grabbed Miss Annie by she floor back frack, and before you know it, Miss Annie was on the ground. She jumped up looking worse than a shenche fall. Hear the crowd, hold on, Miss Matty, hold on. In the meantime, not a bucket was under the pipe. Mad and she daughter try full the water and clear out. Now Miss Annie was behaving like crazy nigger. She pick up nearly 20 stone, then she drop all of them. She backs up she fist and scream, I bet you don't touch me again. Miss Matty give Miss Annie one hard push and she end up on Joe. Joe get vexed. If anyone I accompany me again, I drown you right in the bucket of water here. Everybody being glad that Miss Annie get her tail pungy in that morning. Not a soul she when she disappeared from the scene. All you hear in the distance was, you Miss Matty there. I bet you don't come up here. I want you to hit me again. And then as soon as you look again, there was no more Miss Annie. They always say that all she had, apart from she big nose, was she mouth. But then, when you think all bacchanal was over, down the road come Dr. K with the size of a stick in his hand, looking for his 3 daughters. They had just get the chance to fill the water, but he started to lick left, right, and center. Since God make morning, are you left home? Me home a wait panayo, are you down your idle? La, Dr. K, a woman cry. They just get the chance to fill the water. There was a big crowd and a lot of confusion. They just start to fool no go on so. Jeannie, Margaret, and Suki full the water, put the bucket on the head and the outer port up the road. But you know, I still think that them days they at the water tank been fun days. They were like a mixture of wrestling and BBC. No matter how far you had to go for water, you went without a fuss. But I really prefer how things be these days. You just open the pipe and the water right there. But I miss the gossip, the information, and the spirit of community. But Lord, sometimes there was too much bacchanal just for a ton of water.
Right. Well, we have it much better now, right? Things much better now. Eh?
We have to dissect that thing one day, because I want to know what a cananks.
Yes, Canuck, yeah.
That kind of is the sound of the bucket connecting with the head. Boy, I tell you.
Okay, all right.
Those
okay.
are the days.
Okay, I'm going to ask the first question from the story, and then you guys can come in, right? Okay, the first question is, what is a ton of water? What is a ton of water? Okay, you explain that, and you can be our first winner. Okay, numbers to call?
Very good question, Chesley. What is a ton of water? Number to call, 669-7312 or 469-7953. Let's stick with those two numbers for now. I think those are easier. Floyd, you don't get to answer.
I got it because I don't know it, right? I don't know the answer.
Good morning, caller. You're in the good old days.
Good morning.
Please turn down whatever you're listening to. In the, hello? Please turn down whatever you're listening to in the background.
Yes, it's done already.
All right, go ahead.
A ton of water is a bucket of water.
How big is the bucket?
Is a bucket of water? A ton of water is a bucket of water. I tried to.
You'll have to think that come again, caller.
A bucket of water. So if I have a bucket of water in my home, that's a ton of water?
That's what they say at the water tank.
Ton of water. Okay. All right.
Caller, I would advise you to think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's on the right track. So you want to maybe give a little more clarification because you're on your way.
Call back.
You call back?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. We can put a little thing on that.
Maybe you just want to say, Chesley. Maybe you just want to clarify, not to give a hint, but just to clarify that. Sometimes people carry other things for water, not just buckets alone. Right? Good morning, caller. You're in the good old days.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, we sound happy like you.
Ren, this one is for you. Good morning to my cousin Floyd.
Floyd don't know who he cousin be. But I know who my cousin is.
The voice, my good morning.
Ren know who be talk. When tell the man who me be now.
But my cousin, he cousin is supposed to know.
Now they had him on a ton of water is, eh?
Alright, this is John Fobbs, Floyd.
Yes.
That's right. There
Jennifer Fobbs.
Good morning.
Say good morning, cousin mine.
Yeah.
You go ahead and sanction it, Floyd, because Ren don't believe. I got 1 million and counting cousins. Are you alone?
Yeah. All the Fobbs is my family. Yep.
Okay, there you go. Okay, you got an answer for the question?
Yeah, man, yeah.
Go ahead.
A ton of water mean a junk of water.
As a Jamaican would say, go have my phone.
Okay, all right.
Good morning, caller. You're in the good old days.
Caller? Okay.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Very good, please.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, caller.
A ton of water is one trip. You make one trip, and regardless of the type of container, you call that.
All right. Oh wow. Good.
Fantastic.
Right. Okay, good.
Okay.
Right. That's on target, right? So you are first winner.
So you gotta give us your name and your number, please.
Jennifer Prince.
Oh, Jennifer. Oh, okay.
Jennifer Prince.
Okay. Yes.
Jennifer, how you become a prince?
She be a princess?
Yes. Formerly Williams, right? Formerly Williams.
Yes.
Yes. And give us your number, please.
669.
669.
8749.
8749. All right. And we know her as Elaine in school.
I know. I'm thinking. Why is Elaine's name Jennifer?
All right. Thank you, caller, and congratulations.
Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Nice to hear you.
Yes. Okay. Good.
All right. I think we got another caller.
Yeah.
Caller, good morning. You're in the good old days. Hello.
What is it?
Are you there, caller? Yeah.
No, it doesn't seem so.
Okay.
Yes, Fred, you were saying something?
I'm going to say that our friends on Sinkets, they don't say ton, but a load.
A
So
load,
it depends,
a load.
depends on where you are. You have to modify the
A load of water.
They say load?
Yeah, a load of water.
Yes.
Why they say load? Because they carry water in truck?
I have no idea. It's just a colloquial thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well that color's right on target.
Right. So a ton of water is really, when you say a ton of water, it means that you make one trip with a bucket or whatever it is.
Even a bottle.
That's 1 ton. So you can make enough ton of water. Okay, morning, right?
Yes.
And children used to get up early and they used to have to carry enough ton of water to fill the bucket.
Yeah.
Or the bad pan.
Yeah.
Yes. Or the drum, whatever it is.
Morning caller, you on the good old days. Hello. Hold on. Caller, good morning.
I think it's like
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Are you still on the same question with a ton of water?
We got that answer already, caller. But you want to tell us what a ton of water is from your point of view?
Well, I look at it as a bucket of water.
Oh, that's how you look at it?
Okay. Yes. Okay. That's a good try. That's a good
That's a good attempt, caller.
Yes. But a ton really can be whatever container you're going to use for transportation is
Yes.
Yes.
What's the next question? You asked the next question.
Not yet. So you have to listen. All right.
Listen and call us.
And call us back.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So
maybe in modern language, Chesley, they would say a trip, right?
A trip of water.
Well, I just wrote ton. I was wondering if you go and come, you go and make a ton.
Right. That's the idea. That's the idea.
like
Yes.
ton hand and
Ton.
You go on your ton. You go to the ton and you turn back with the water, right? That's 1 ton.
1 ton.
Okay. Next time.
Okay, well, earlier my curiosity was along the lines of what are some water conservation strategies that you implement at home or at work, or you used to implement and you know what, you kind of drifted away from it and you're like, those were good practices, so how can I go back to these good practices? So that's been my curiosity, because we always need to be implementing and teaching each other about some good habits.
Okay, so you want two? How many you want? You want two?
About two, 3 examples.
Two strategies of conserving water in the home.
I never thought that Kanisha would give me a problem. But no, she give me a problem. We're talking about questions, she come with curiosity.
Okay, all right.
So what's the question, Kanisha?
Yeah.
So,
okay,
you have a call?
No, go ahead. Give us a question.
So the question one more time was, what are some water conservation strategies that you have used in the past or you currently use, whether in your home or at work or anywhere else on your farm?
Yes, okay. All right, and we do have a caller. Go ahead.
Caller, good morning.
Okay. In your buckets, in drums, in oil pans, in cisterns. That's it for me.
Catches water?
Caller, you answering the question?
It sounds like you're talking about...
You answering the question that Kanisha just asked?
Yes.
I said buckets and drums and pots and pans and bowl and all these things.
Listen, if I was your teacher, right, I'd give you some hard mark, because all you give me some words, I have no idea what you're talking about. So you have to
I can't hear you good.
You can hear me good?
Okay.
Well, I can hear you excellently.
Okay.
Hello,
caller? She's there?
Yes.
Yes. No, it sounds as if you are answering a question. What was used to different containers they used to store or transport water? It sounds as if, but that wasn't the question asked. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Kanisha, you want to just clarify one more time?
So
yes.
Water conservation, we're looking at the existing water we have and how we can extend that water. So I have 50 gallons of water. How can I use it efficiently so that I still have it 2-3 days from now? Okay, so I want to use it efficiently.
Right.
So my curiosity is, what are some of the conservation strategies, some that may not be mentioned here, that people use at home or used to use?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, caller. You on the good old days?
Love to the IM.
Good morning, yes.
Thanks for such a wonderful program as usual.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're
Let's
looking
have
at
your...
water conservation. Well, what we used to do, right? We used to get a tub or a container, and we used to wash up with dishes in that. And then we had another one for rinsing. These days, they tell you just let the water run freely and wash. You know, so if we go back to that method of having a container and wash your dishes and then one for rinsing, I think that would be a method of conserving water.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And
So.
then,
Okay. Good.
and
Okay.
then
Good.
when we finish rinsing the water goes on the plants. You know, we throw it on the plants.
All right. Okay.
So you know, you're not using another 5 gallons to water your plants.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, basically that's the ways there.
Excellent answer, Carla.
Hold on, Miss Lewis.
So that's gray water use in extreme situations where people, communities have water shortages. What they would do is disconnect their drain pipes, and capture the water underneath in containers like you're talking about, and use that water for secondary work.
Okay, so you're confirming that this caller is a winner, right? He's a winner.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes, caller, can you give us your name and number, please?
Right.
Yes.
It's all right.
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna send it to my granddaughter.
Okay, no problem.
What's the number for your granddaughter?
Well, take my number. I'll make the contact. 664-3064.
664-3064. All right.
Thank you very much for calling, sir. It's an honor to hear you. Thank you.
And congratulations. Right.
Blessings.
Right. Thank you. All right. And
that's some education there.
Yes. And many persons still do that.
Yeah.
When they wash up the dishes and so on, they have, you minimize the use of water.
Yeah.
But sometimes sometimes the other day I had to hit one of my sons on my hand because it just get to me. He wasted. So I say, boy, and then he watch me.
Go hit me for.
You want the water full, turn the pipe full, just to wash a spoon, just to rinse off a spoon.
I used to throw one in the house when I walk in there because we talk hard so they could hear me.
That's what I'm saying. It's useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my turn. I got 2 hard questions. Wow. Yeah. I take it on leaf out of Miss Lewis' book. So we talked about the start of the systems in Nevis. We talked about a northern system and a southern system. So my question is, tell me where on the southern side where the first tank is. So the water does come into a tank, and then from there it goes into other tanks and come down the road into town. And so I need to know where the first tank is on the south side. So that's the Gingerland side.
Okay.
And I need to know where the first tank is on the other side.
Oh. Okay.
The 2 areas that I mentioned.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the question. So tell me, so the tanks in Nevis are in series. The water, we come from the wells, we go into the first tank, and then from there it goes into other tanks, and it makes its way into town from Gingerland side. So I need to know where's the first tank in the series on the Gingerland side. And then on the other side, I almost gave the answer.
Yes. Yes.
On the other side, the same thing. So I need to know the first tank on the 2 systems.
Okay. So you want the beginning and the end?
Okay. Just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
The beginning on both sides.
All right. Okay.
They've been paying attention. Somebody eager.
Yeah.
Morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
On the Gingerland side, Fossil and on the St. James side, Madden.
I think you work for the water department today. Disqualify yourself, eh? Or the question was as hard as I thought.
Yes.
But that's absolutely correct.
Yes. Okay. Can you give us your name and number, please, for a top-up, a gift?
P. Alistair Rollins.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Morning, teacher.
Voice. Okay.
Morning.
Okay. And your number? You want me to look at my phone for it, or are you going to give me?
You think?
Hello. Hello.
669-0354.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
0354. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Oh, yes. Welcome. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Congratulations. Yes.
Yes, I should have asked for the series of tanks. So.
Okay.
No, you ain't gonna do it, teacher. Morning, caller. You on the good old days?
Is it Madden's and Hamilton?
We're not asking for questions, caller. We're asking for answers.
Madden and Hamilton. When you're giving me a lot of trouble today, you know.
No. You see, we have some doctors in here. I have to behave myself.
That answer is half right.
So you answer half right, they say. So look for next half and come back.
Yes.
Where is half? South or north? Nothing.
Huh?
If you want to know which half is right, but that's part of the puzzle.
Yes. Okay.
If we tell you which half is right, caller will be giving the answer. So you're going to figure it out and come back.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller. All right. This is Friday. Just want to maybe just clarify the answer that was given. That was the right answer, right?
It was. Yes. Yeah. So for the girls, and on that southern, we call it the southern side of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, caller. You're on the good old days. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Is it Rollins and Hamilton?
Right.
What the first one was Rollins?
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
No, that's not correct. Sorry.
So I think they didn't hear the answers.
Yes, the answer was already given, right? So just listen up. Okay. Thank you.
So the answer was Floyd.
So for the girls on the southern side,
Right.
and Maddens on the other side of the island. So, and this is probably for future. So on the Fothergill side, the water goes from Fothergills up to Stony Hill, down into Zetlands, and down to Morningstar.
Hold on.
Okay.
I thought you asked for catchments.
Yeah, it tanks them. Yeah.
There's a tank at Fothergills?
Yeah, man.
I thought there's a pump at Fothergills.
And the pump the pump just up the hill there by
the tank up
by
there?
Key, just so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then on the other side, you start with Maddens, and from Maddens we go all the way to Camps. Camps go up to Spring Hill, and from Spring Hill it's into Cotton Ground and then on to Jessup's.
Okay. All right.
So that's the series. So I thought the first question was hard. That should have been the question,
Yes.
but
Yes.
that's for next time. That's for next time.
So you're going to ask your next question now, or you? Or you want me to?
If you have one, let me dig up another one.
You want me to go ahead with mine then?
Yes, please.
So long? Okay. All right. Now here's the question. In the past, many persons transported water in containers on their heads. How did they prevent the water from spilling? Okay? All right. In the past, many persons transported water in containers on their heads. How did they prevent the water from spilling? Okay. All right. Yes. Okay.
Good morning, caller. You're on the good old days. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Mr. Robinson, you just said something there. That for the northern side, the catchment come from Madden, go to Cotton Ground, and then...
No. He didn't say that.
So what...
No, he didn't say that.
Well, let's play. See what he says.
Well, I did, yeah, but generally, let's finish the question. Generally, yeah, from Madden's into Jessup's. What was that? Yeah.
Yeah, but what I want to know, so what purpose is the tank in Jessup serving?
So, the tank in Jessup's and all the tanks that we have is what we use for distribution. Yeah. So there is no for the sources, and we let's clarify what the source is and what the catchments are, the tanks. So the source are basically wells, and then we have a little spring at camp. So where the water actually comes from first is the well, and then when we do that, we put them in catchments.
Yes.
And then, so there's no source in Jessup's, so the water has to come from someplace else. And so it starts in Maddens, and through pipes and connection, then we move all the water all the way to Jessup's. So Jessup's is really designed.
So that's the catchment.
That's the
The one
catchment.
in Jessup is just for catchment.
Just for catchment.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. I get it.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
caller. Chesley, Chris, okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the good old days.
Go ahead. Okay.
Good morning, caller. You're on the good old days. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Did you get an answer about the water not spilling?
Not yet.
Not yet. So you're our first
I'm
caller.
I'm back with a vengeance. Come to them old people. I'm back with a vengeance.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to say good morning to my daughter Latoya. And she's listening and enjoying the show. But anyway, man, you put the bucket on top of your head, right? And you get some big bush and put one in there.
Big bush?
Some any kind of bush.
Oh.
All right.
All right. We'll take that.
Wait a second. So you have some long hands, man, to reach up and put the big bush after the bucket on your head.
I know, right?
we just played, yeah.
Thank you, caller.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, caller. Yes, your number, please.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
okay.
No, you are correct. Congratulations. You're right. Yeah. So it can be big bush or bush, guinea leaves, and so on. But what you want to avoid is for the leaves to crumble. You want leaves that wouldn't crumble in the water. So like guinea leaves, that was a good choice because they would stay intact.
And the banana flagging.
Banana flagging.
You know what?
Okay.
Mega call back with the number.
Yes. Okay. All right. No problem.
All right, no problem.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Good.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah, Chesley, we normally use the dry banana flagging as well.
Right. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Okay.
Good morning, caller. You in the good old days?
Yes, somebody got a question already to prevent the water from spilling?
Yes, dear. But how you used to do it? Tell us.
We used to pick bush and put in the pan.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That's basically it. Thank you so much.
Before or after you put the pan on your head?
Or Chesley getting a call even when there's no question. Maybe this caller has a question.
Go ahead.
Caller, good morning. You on the good old days?
Maybe the question is too easy.
Well, you got a hard one. You could give us one in a caller.
You couldn't try the trick of half full in the pan, to prevent the water from spilling. When you get home, you got your barrel full up.
Right.
So if you want to do it in 1 trip or 10 trips, it's up to you. But guys, there were 2 girls in Newcastle. I don't know if I should call the name, but let me tell you something. Nobody in the world could carry water better than them. Them girls used to got a pan on the head, right? And them girls used to got a book. And they leave the bottom of Charles Road with a bucket on the head, reading the book, and make it up to almost the top of Charles Road.
Yes.
On a regular basis.
We had people from Hallelujah do that all the time, regular.
With the book in the hand?
Yeah, they're studying, they're doing the homework, and so with the bucket on the hand, bucket of water on the head.
What is this? I thought only Castle one, man.
No. That you should mention the names. That's what I'm for.
But you know, guys, I don't carry much water on my head, My grandfather had a donkey with a crook.
Okay.
He made the box.
You're one of the fortunate ones.
4 oil pans.
Okay.
4 corners, two on each side.
Yeah.
Well, you're lucky.
That's how I used to carry my water.
You're lucky.
You're lucky, very lucky. You're blessed.
Application of technology. Yeah. Technology, yeah.
Consider yourself blessed, caller. Very blessed.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Okay.
Now we have to figure out what a crook is, for those who, yeah.
But the caller just said it.
For the donkey. Our fancy saddles.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
All right. Any more questions? Yes.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
And so, back in the, I should say, well, it was in the 60s. So back in the 60s, there was a type of pipe that they used to use. They have now discarded of those pipes. Could anyone tell me the type of material that they used to use back in the day?
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Floyd off here.
Okay, numbers to call 469-7953, 669-7312. And the question once again, Ren?
Tell me the name of the pipes, the material that they used to use back in the 60s, I suppose, and 50s. Okay. I think they started getting rid of them in the late 70s.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. Okay, so these were pipes that were once used, but no longer used.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't use them anymore.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
yeah. Well, while we wait on callers to do the research, I just want to just kind of reiterate some of the things that we were saying, because especially when it comes to conservation, a couple questions were asked and they were great answers. But some of the other things that could be done, one of the things, for example, with your toilet, to detect if you have any leak, you could just put some food coloring in the tank.
Oh.
Let's.
Caller, good morning. You're on the good old days. Go ahead, please.
Brass.
Excuse me?
Brass pipe.
Brass pipe?
Fly, you can.
I don't think that was where I'm going. I don't think that was where Ren is going.
No. Caller, try again, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. You're on the good old days. Okay, Floyd, you could go ahead.
Yeah, so we were talking about, again, leak detection. So if your toilet, sometimes the flap doesn't sit properly inside the tank, and if you just put some food coloring in, and when you come home later and you see that is in the toilet bowl, it means that the flap needs just repairing. Yeah. And one thing about the toilet, one thing you mentioned, Ren, is that whole float, that doesn't float up properly. But also too, the flap is something the next big thing you want to maintain. Again, because of the kind of water we have, again, deposits.
It gets stiff.
And it gets stiff and it doesn't sit properly. So sometimes people will just get fed up and go buy a whole new set of stuff, but usually it's a basic maintenance, you know, and so those are some of the quick things you could do too. And again, the toilet is really your main culprit, you know. All the other places you could see the water really easily if there's a leak.
Yeah, okay. It's called?
Morning, caller, you on the good old days?
Good morning.
Morning.
We used to use those big tanks. They made them from concrete. We call them damp. They were made from concrete, cement, or whatever you want to call it. And we call them damp.
Well,
hello.
Caller, we're looking for the type of pipe, not the catchment.
Metal pipe.
We did say pipe, caller, not metal pipe.
Metal.
That's not what we're looking for, caller. So think and try again, okay? Good morning, caller. You in the good old days?
Lead pipes. Lead pipes.
Lead? Did you say lead, caller?
Copper pipe. Lead and copper pipe. Yes. Lead and copper pipe.
Okay, that's not the answer we're looking for. We're looking for the water that carry, what we used to call the mains, right? The water that the pipes that run along the main road and so on. Those big pipes, not necessarily the pipes that go in your yard. Those big pipes that normally run at the side of the road and so on. Okay, so.
And those will be like 4-inch in size and 6-inch.
4 and 6-inch pipes. Okay. Caller. Whoops. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning. We're talking about iron pipes.
That's
not really.
That's not the answer. Sorry, caller.
No, that's not the answer we're looking for. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
It was actually asbestos. We got this asbestos. We can say we have to try it, but asbestos concrete. You used to mix it, but yeah. Asbestos myself.
Yeah.
By the particles.
And it's not.
Okay, we got another call, Chesley. Caller, you on the good old days. Go ahead, please.
Is it iron pipes?
No. We still use iron pipes. But these pipes I'm talking about, we don't use them anymore at all.
I guess if you said it's not a metal, I don't know.
Okay. Yes, Floyd, go ahead.
Okay, maybe you could add,
Yeah, I said we want to throw a clue out there.
Because
say what it's not.
Yes.
What it's not?
It's your question, right? You have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, it's all right. It's all right. We're working together. It's not metal.
Not metal. Okay.
It's not concrete. It's not. Let's see if this caller gonna get it. Good morning, caller. You in the good old days? Huh? Caller?
Well, it's not. Okay. Well, it's all right.
Caller, you're on the good old days. Please turn down your radio or whatever you're listening to and talk to the
It's not
phone.
concrete. It's not.
Okay, we don't want to hear it's not. We want to hear what it is. Hello, caller?
Is it asbestos pipes?
Yes, it is. What's your name, please, and where you're calling us from, and your number? Caller, please turn down your device and talk to us on the phone.
Yes, asbestos pipe.
Mm-hmm. What's your name and your number, please?
I'm calling you from Toronto, Canada.
Wow.
Oh, thank you so much for calling from Toronto, Canada. Did you use asbestos pipes in Canada as well?
They were the producers.
Okay.
Say that again?
Were those pipes used in Canada?
I have no device on.
Okay, I was asking you if the asbestos was used in Canada as well.
No, but I could remember those days when we used to use asbestos back home.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the truth. Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
And while I'm online with you,
mm-hmm.
on the subject of conserving water,
mm-hmm.
I believe one of the culprits of heavy use of water without putting mechanism into conserving the water is the ready mix industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there was some simple fix. We can build what we call wash pan.
Mm.
And so when you have the runoff water, it goes into a settlement. And you can recycle that said water to do your mix and cleaning. If you work with me and go back when you do mixing concrete, you have your drum.
Mm-hmm.
You notice the drum that you put your shovel in, it has a milky color.
Mm-hmm.
And after a few minutes, you allow it to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be surprised to see all the sediments settles in the bottom. And that water is there that you could continue your mix rather than throwing it away.
Yes. I remember those days.
Right. Good point, caller.
Thank you very much, caller, for your contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but you didn't leave us a number though. You
need to give us a number of somebody local.
You are a winner, but do you have a number that you want to send the top up to?
If I have
a number, yeah. We were giving out some top ups as prizes, so you are a winner. So we were just asking what number you'd want the top up to go to. Maybe somebody here in Nevis or
St. Kitts.
Yes, St. Kitts, Barbados. Yes.
You said the top up to 664.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
9037.
9037. Okay, we got you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And this is coming, and this is Mekai Hamilton.
Mekai Hamilton.
And this is Hamilton speaking.
Okay, Mekai Hamilton. All right.
Clyde, a.k.a. Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
Charlotte,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yeah,
all right.
picked up. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
brother. You good?
Yeah.
Right.
We got you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, and keep listening.
show.
Okay,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Okay.
So Charlotte and I go back to cadet days too,
Yeah.
you know. So, but the asbestos. So just a quick clarification. It wasn't purely asbestos. It was asbestos concrete. You know, what I mean, we still accept the answer, obviously. But because the thing about asbestos is a very dangerous material. When the particle gets in the air, that's when it's dangerous. So even when we started removing some of those pipes, we had to be careful how we extracted the pipes and stuff. I think the old power plant in town had some asbestos in the roof and stuff and so on. So the removal, we have to be careful. But during those days, the pipe was lined with concrete and they mixed in and binded the asbestos, so it was safe to move water through those pipes.
I remember now most of the roofs had asbestos and all that.
Had the asbestos tiles and stuff.
Ginger and secondary
Of
used to
course.
have asbestos in the
In the hall area and stuff.
You know, and then there was some heavy iron pipes, some metal pipes.
The ductile iron came.
That's cast iron. What is it?
Ductile iron.
Oh.
So-called ductile.
Very
It's just a
heavy.
mixture, it's just a mixture, because you don't really have, a lot of times, we will say iron or we will use maybe the predominant material in the mix, but usually it's not a pure of one mixture or not, but one material or not.
Carla, good morning. You're on the good old days. Go ahead, please.
Yes, did you get the question for the pipe?
Yes, we did.
Yes, it's asbestos.
You're supposed to be listening in the caller because this is a learning process for all of us.
Yes.
So don't miss anything, okay?
All right. Thank you, caller. That was the asbestos, right?
That was the asbestos pipe.
Yeah. You know.
Thanks for calling. Right.
Okay. Just quickly though, talking of these iron pipes. Whenever we go to the water source, boy, we always amaze and wonder how
They get the
those
pipes up
workers
there.
got those heavy pipes up
Boy,
there.
There's some big pipes.
And the technology that was used to channel the water from up Stony Hill. Sometimes it's going uphill and then amazed.
And so we're going to start with, of course, with our source man, Willie Natter, who's been deceased for some years now, but he was to Gingerland and he was the ultimate waterman.
He was the man.
Yes.
He was the man.
And what you see, Chesley, of course, with Hills and Valley, it seems to be going uphill, but then the original way it's actually coming from is much higher. So you have these, hill, rise and falls.
Okay.
And as long as this source is higher than all of that, it would make its way down and back up. What appears to be back up a hill. So when you, for those who go to the source, of course, you have to go through a bunch of valleys, up and down, up and down. But the original, where the source is, where the water is coming from, is higher than all those locations. So it would make its way down. And for those who don't know, again, the source is really back in the Maddens area. But again, your city center, of course, is the place that you give first priority to your hospitals and stuff. So the water was channeled all the way around to Stony Hill. And then from there, the water came into town. So a lot of the tanks we have now were just upgrades from smaller tanks. As one caller said about the dams, the concrete dams. So when you got to the community level, of course, the size was a little smaller. As a matter of fact, the top of Zion Village, when you're going down, the bottom of Zion Hill, going down, just yesterday I was there and I saw it's covered with bay bush. And, the craft band ship in terms of the stones that cut and stuff, we got to clean it up. We don't use it anymore. But those are some of the things, again, as we're talking about the good old days, those are just, that's the progression of where we are now. We have some nice fancy materials that could last 50 years if maintained properly. So those new tanks we have is so-called glass fused to steel. So the panels are steel, but they're protected by a coating of glass, and if they're not chipped, those things will give you 50 years easily without batting an eye. So of course, with the improvement in technology, the same way you talk about the pipes, it used to be whatever was available was the asbestos, as dangerous as it is by itself. But like I said, in the business, it was mixed with concrete. Then we went to ductile iron, PVC. We have something called high density polyethylene, HDPE. That's the greatest thing now, and so
was copper used at some point?
Still, some people still use copper. That's on the household level, not for mains. On the household level, you see people doing that now. Again, you have to know your water quality to use that because there's reaction, chemical reaction, when it comes to copper and stuff and so on. So a variety of materials are used. But one thing about Nevis.
Clay is a big one that was used for a while too.
Yeah. One thing about Nevis is that we have really embraced technology. Whenever the new thing comes out, we're right there moving along, and so there's some islands right now that are still fighting with some older materials. PVC has proven to be a good, strong material. It has to be protected though, because PVC in the sunlight weakens.
Okay.
So the mains has to be covered, and even the smaller pipes that in your yard actually they should be covered, because one thing that happens and stuff, and Miss Lewis can attest to this, the UV light. You know, we think about light as just ordinary light of what we could see, but that spectrum is wider than that, and that will seep through the material, and whether it's visible light or not, light plus water. That gives rise to your moss and stuff. So sometimes when you turn the pipe, you get that smell. It's not the source water itself. It's just in that environment right by your household now. The water is stagnant for a while. When you turn it down, you get that initial smell. Or if you have to repair the pipe, you look and you see there's moss inside the pipe. So a lot of times, and going back to the quality, and again, the conversation of what the utility could control and what the consumer could control, whether it's water quality, the loss of water. You know, I want to emphasize the partnership, because if you're not going to do regulations, so the pipe should be buried. But if you don't bury your pipe and something happens, then, you know, they're partly responsible for what the outcome is. And so we're not just putting down rules just because. There's a reason, and maybe we don't do a good job of explaining what the reason is for people to adhere. Hence, you know, we're here doing that.
Yeah, well, we probably need to do more of these programs, Floyd, because information is power.
Yes, it is.
And if you know why you should do something, you're more prone to doing it than if you don't know.
Okay, correct.
And some people don't just like to follow suit. I don't just do it because you see Floyd doing it.
Yeah.
You know why Floyd do it, right? So
only in the military they have left turn, and you just turn because you're given a command.
Right.
But talking about that and going back to Charlotte's comment about recycling reuse, that's a great opportunity too that we have. When it comes to this whole discussion about sustainability, we are still not doing a very good job of reusing, because sometimes like Miss Lewis was saying when in her explanation for sustainability, the water have a couple passes, and even here when Charlotte mentioned about the concrete folks, the water could do a couple jobs on its way through, maybe in the car washes too. So there's opportunity there that. A tank of water could wash 25 cars. You know, with a little bit of cleanup and so on and so on and so on, and that takes the pressure off the system. When the shower rain come, you praise God, because here again I get a replenishment and do it all over again.
Well, you see, I think Charlotte is coming back from the age where when I remember when, you know, construction was done back in the early 70s and so. I mean, those construction workers, they come, and if no water there, they can't do anything. So you have to carry water from God knows where, miles away, to fill the cup or to fill the drum for those guys to work. And the person for whom they're working going to ensure that they use that water properly. Right? So even as they wash off what you used to call the banker, what you mix the concrete on and so on, after they finish that, they got to scoop out the water and throw it back in the drum. Right? Because they got to make sure that water is used for as many purposes as possible. Right? So.
And even though we couldn't put a cost to it, we knew the value of it.
Yes, the value.
And so we took care of it. And again, turning on the tap and seeing this water coming and not understanding where it's coming from makes it, you know, reduces the value.
Oops, so sorry. Morning, caller. You're the good old days.
Morning.
Yeah, good day.
Yeah, good day, sir. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm holding on, man.
Yeah, keep holding on. We're praying.
I'm not too well, but I'm holding on.
Yeah, good to hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm listening now, you and it just you know, jogged me a little memory.
How much water you don't carry?
Where I live, right? You used to got we have gut, and I remember. I used to bathe in the gut especially when rain fall. When rain fall, you couldn't take a chance in passing over the gut. You wash your way. And a woman came to live in the area, and she said the gut is land, and she built a wall across the gut. And it stopped and changed the flow of rainfall in the area. You find water running all over the place that used to come into that gut. Now, what I want to know is what power does the government, not government, water department or whoever, what power do they hold to stop that kind of thing? Don't tell her,
Stop
don't block
waterways.
the guts.
Yeah.
Good question, caller. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a disheartening situation. I mean, you know, because the gut doesn't belong to, shouldn't be on a property. The gut, the water courses should not be a part of any property, and nobody has the right legally to obstruct any kind of water course. You know, some water courses are more defined than others sometimes, and something you'll be surprised that it looks very gentle and the amount of water it carries.
Yes.
You know, and so that one, the gentle one, spreads out a little bit more, and you're probably more tempted to go ahead and
Yes.
you know, fence off that area and stuff. If in a case of a barrier, it shouldn't be a solid barrier. So there could be discussions as to what's the best thing, because again, a gentle course, the land is usable. You know, but at the same time, you must now make provisions for that water, that throughput of water, or some kind of catchment. Whatever you design, it's done. But based on if I'm accurate about what they call it, say when it comes to those more defined guts and stuff, definitely not. And the laws are there. Planning has the authority, even in the old Water Course Act, Water Department has the authority to move it and say that this shouldn't be done. The policing, so to speak, of those kind of things is a little challenging sometimes. I guess again we have to now adapt technology. I mean, I don't know what's the legality of using a drone to fly to do that, because of course a drone over somebody's house, so you say you're looking at the gut, they might think you're looking at them. So the legalities of that would have to, but there are ways in which to get into some of these areas and check to see what's happening.
Yes.
One of the things I think that's happening with us generally, for those of us who work for government, who are responsible for those things, the rate at which things are developing, we're having a hard time keeping up.
I know.
We're having a hard time keeping up. And then sometimes the policies are outdated too, as we have been discussing that earlier. So there have to be workarounds. And one of the best workaround I have experienced in Nevis is that the smallest of the place lends itself to conversations.
Yes.
It's easy to approach somebody and have a chat with them, explain to them what's going on, and I have not had any negative experiences from anybody. When I say none, I'm not just speaking generally. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit more convincing with certain people.
Yes.
But I haven't had any negative conversation. So we have the law, and then you have conversation and power of persuasion and that kind of stuff. Because we're not saying you come with the big stick and just start to carry on because you have the law. We are people in a small place. All of us kind of know each other. You dig hard enough, we all family, you know. And so the conversation is necessary to say, hey, boy, you know, when you do this, this is what happens, so and so and so, and you give them a solution. And most of the time, people, I think, Ms. Lewis, I don't know if you...
No, I agree with that. Blocking water courses, as he indicated, can divert the water to someplace else and create a secondary hazard.
Yeah.
And so it's necessary sometimes to have that conversation with people and let them understand the impacts of the actions they take. So, yeah, you can speak up. If all else fails and they won't listen to you, then report it. There are avenues for reporting too. But that is a consideration. We have to share the community. We have to share the resource. We have to share how it moves.
My addition to that would be, well, kind of a question, and I got to do this quickly, right, Chesley? The roadworks that we've had in the last couple of years, seeing that we took out a lot of the swales out of the road and put culverts, right?
Yeah.
What, if any, disadvantages have there been, Floyd, in reference to the water running? Because culverts would have to be cleaned, I mean, often, right?
Not only that, they don't carry as much volume.
No, they don't carry
as the swale either. And, you know, I'm not in public works or been a part of any road projects in any way to understand what's the dynamics of why, you know. You try to make your input when you see things, but definitely the maintenance factor goes up, as you mentioned, and then some of the post issues, like we said about not enough volume, so you might have it being flooded out more, you spill over and stuff and so on, and then of course that's an issue. I don't know that we do any kind of checks and double checks to see what the the cost, the consequences are. Because typically when a road gets, I think one time in Cotton Gong area we had a big thing where the road got washed out and stuff and so forth. And I'm not sure again what assessment was being done, but the whole idea is to get it fixed as quickly as possible.
Yes.
I think in some areas, well, just my limited, observation. Sometimes they tend to like make the road higher, so that you don't get road flooding and driving is more comfortable and so on. But then the end result is that the water still needs to get over that other side.
And one of the bigger challenges too and stuff, because the streams are not perennial. I mean, and again, we are talking about more intense rainfall. So by the time, even if I was behaving like a fireman, that rain come and I jump up and I run out, by the time you get the runoff is done. Unless it's a real intense activity, you really can't see the effects of, And sometimes we have community folks who would do a little quick film to show you. I've seen, the bad stream got there by CSS run by Powell up to the bridge. Now somebody had to take that video. By the time I get out, the water would have dissipate again, and measure, well, what kind of event would bring that kind of water? Is that a 1 in 10 year, 1 in whatever number of years? So that we would design, or we just say, well, boy, we can't go, because to design something that would say take a 1 in 100 year storm, again, the cost again. The cost again. So we have to do that little dance and that balance and stuff, but you're right in some of the cases that we really need to double check before we make that decision. There was a video going around about Long Point where there's a new hot spring or something going on there. And it was interesting that most people were talking about the hot spring, but I kept looking at the profile of the bridge. And when you saw those weep holes, and I smiled and I said, that thing has stood up because of that. Now, over the years now, the upstream section has silted up. And we're talking about the maintenance factor. If we go and dig that out and clear those weep holes, when that gut comes down and runs over, it's not a problem. And that road has testified to the fact that it has been there for years. And there's a bridge built by our great-grandfather's technology. They say no fancy, quote-unquote, So the design, you really have to sit down and think about what you're trying to achieve. And if I can't get the bridge tall enough to take all the water, where the water comes, give it a way to get by easily with less resistance. And those are some technologies can be used. I honestly think that we have moved in some areas and do certain design that is not suited for our environment, but again, the speed, the expedience, and the time and the cost is a factor.
Studies that need to be done.
And we don't like to take time to do that.
That's true.
Because you're like going to say, boy, they're out here for 5 weeks and nothing to do.
Yes. You see, I had the conversation, what we call soldier crab, the hermit crabs. We also need to consider how we build so that they can move and transition. One of the things we may not recognize is here we say ridge to reef, right? But things are also transitioning between the ocean and back up, and they bring valuable nutrients and they transfer things that we need. And so we need, when we're building these things, to consider how do other organisms traverse, because a lot of the times we end up driving over them in the night when they're trying to cross to where they need to be too. So all of these considerations, when you talk about an environmental impact assessment, it looks at multiple layers, from water to climate to all the other soil, etc., as you go all the way down. And sometimes projects that we have, we did not dig as deep as we needed to and fully comprehend it. And so if we really look at it, things need to be done in a timely manner. But in reality, sometimes that research that is necessary takes a bit of time. So,
right.
Floyd, have you seen that area flooded in your lifetime? The bath got rowed by the high school then?
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. Well, by
Chelsea is indicating part 3.
Yes. You passed me the hour. Yes. Okay. But I want to thank you very much for coming again and sharing. And it's always refreshing to have you. And I know that the public would have benefited tremendously from the information that you would have shared, right?
It's a pleasure being here, as always. And again, if we're talking public education, this is one of the best way. And so part 3 is up in the air. We'll discuss that.
Of course, anytime.
Of course.
And don't worry, the good old days and 2020 vision will be at the top of advocacy for you guys to be united, right? So maybe the next time you come around, you'll have to say Dr. Kenisha, you have to say Dr. Lewis or Dr. Robinson, right?
Well, you're killing me now, but I appreciate it though.
Well, we appreciate the information and the thoroughness of the presentation that you guys give, right? In depth. I mean, it tells definitely that you guys, have not just been hearing these things, you've been practicing it. It's a part of you, and we thank you so much. We appreciate it so much.
All right. I want to thank all our callers, all our listeners, and to all our winners. Congratulations. So you can, watch out or listen out for your gift. Okay, that will get to you. All right. And we want to thank everyone for being with us for today's edition of the Good Old Days. Do continue to enjoy your Saturday. Have a pleasant weekend, and may the week coming up for you be a productive and enjoyable one.
Yes,
Thank
and
you.
hopefully we'll see you again next week. Next Saturday, same time, 9:30, right here on 2020 Vision Radio for the Good Old Days. Bye-bye for now.